Hi everyone, hello! Hi! Can you hear me? Oh good, you can. Good, I was worried there for a moment that you couldn't hear me. Hi! I am Trooper SJP, and this is the Academic Foxhole, and I am not hearing myself at all. There, I think that's better. Krellin is not here. I can't normally hear myself, but I usually get some sort of feedback, and I just, like, it's not like I can hear myself. I can't, because I'm not monitoring myself. I'm not in the monitor, but normally I get a sense of the mic. Like I can kind of hear the mic. Here, hold on. Can I don't think I can. Whatever. It's fine. Hi, everybody. If you can't hear yourself, you may want to see a hearing specialized doctor. Ooh. So there's this YouTuber. I don't think I introduced myself. I'm Trooper SJP, and this is the Academic Foxhole. Pew 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 pew. Anyway, we're playing our Thursday game. There's so many things I want to talk to you about. We're gonna play a game, by the way, but first there are things. Crown's like, we all know who you are. There are things I want to talk to you about. So, me and my Pizza Hut cup. Yeah. I found a new YouTuber whose name is something complicated. It's like Jessica Kelgorn hyphen last name. Jessica Kelgorn other second last name. Kelgorn last name. That's, I know I'm not helping you. Where's my cursor? Cursor? There it is. YouTube. Look, I'm bringing this up for a reason. I'm like, I gotta get me there for a second. Jessica. I'm looking for Fozard. Thank you, PH. Yeah. Thank you for giving her last name. Yeah, so she's a disability advocate, and I ran into her because she was dressed super vintage, and I like vintage things. So I was like, who is this person? She's talking about Jamila Jamil, and I'll just see what this is about. I'm very excited. And, you know, she's a disability advocate. She's British. She's got Ehlers-Danvers? Ehlers. Oh, thank you, PH, for the link. Really interesting stuff. Ehlers. I think she's got the same syndrome that Zach from Hyper has, actually. Anyway, she's got a bunch of things, including she went deaf at the age of 15, and she was talking about there was a video she had about her FAQs, like her frequently asked questions, and she was going through a bunch of questions. And there's apparently a frequently asked question, which is interesting to me for other reasons. So people asked her, so you are deaf, can you hear yourself think? And she was like, that's a weird question. Does anyone hear themselves think? She's like, I have thoughts, but like I don't, like, you know. And the thing is, I have spoken to people not in the context of deafness, but just in general, because I was talking to somebody that I know, and it was a conversation about right, so Krellin says lots of people hear themselves think, but apparently not everybody does. I do, but apparently not everybody does hear themselves think. So I was having this conversation where I was, particularly oral learners. It's like I was having a conversation where I was, well, do you want to hear the story? Do you want to hear the story? It's a little saucy. Do you want to know it? Do you want to know it? It's a little scandalous. You might be scandalized. I'm just saying that you'd have to be ready for a vaguely scandalous story. Krellin demands to hear it, and so it is done. I, in a state where it is legal, or I shall summon the Karens. I smoked marijuana for the very first time in my life, like 2 years ago, maybe. I've only smoked marijuana once in my life, and I think it was like maybe 2 years ago. Anyway, in a place where it was legal, so I wasn't doing anything illegal. But I had never smoked marijuana before at all, because I actually have never done any, actually I still have never done any illegal drugs. Anyway, so it was my very first time. And it was weird. It was a strange situation. And I remember having a conversation with somebody, and then like I said the same thing more than once. Like it was like the same conversation, like with the same sequence of phrases that were happening 2 or 3 times in a row. Like I would say this thing, they would say a thing, I would say the same thing, they would say the same thing, I said the same thing, they said the same thing. And then I was like, wait, is this conversation actually happening out loud, or am I just thinking it? Like I wasn't certain if I was actually saying the thing or if I was just thinking the thing but not saying it out loud. And the person I was talking to, they were like, well, clearly you were saying it out loud because this person does not hear things, it does not hear words in their head. Like they don't hear speech in their head, but for me, I do. And like I have entire conversations in my head before I will say them out loud. Like I'm often having like, and I hear my voice inside of my head saying things, and then I think, do I want to say that? And then I either say it or I don't, or I change it. And then sometimes if I'm imagining a conversation with someone else, I'll hear their voice in my head too. Like actual words, like I can hear, and sometimes I can actually see the words in print on top of the audio. Like I'll get dubs and subs inside my mind because I also get visual images as part of my thoughts. And this person had none of those things. That never happened for them. And so for them, of course, they would know the difference between if they were saying a thing out loud or thinking it, because in their mind, they wouldn't be having an oral dialogue. But I do have oral dialogue, so I actually was not certain if I was saying these things out loud or not. Turns out I was saying them out loud. But it was interesting because I learned in that moment, A, that I don't know how I feel about that, but B, I don't know how I feel about that, but B, that not everybody hears words in their head. So that was the thing I learned. Why did the goth guy refuse to get an Uber? Why? Why, Takerosh? Because it sucks to walk. That's fair. I'm gonna have some ginger ale right now. I'm gonna have the last of my ginger ale with you all because ginger ale is the fancy soda. I mean, right? If there's tier 0 sodas, which are like generics, like not Dr. Pepper, but like Mr. Pibb or et cetera, and you know, and then you've got like your tier 1 sodas like Coke, Pepsi, Dr. Pepper, Fanta. Then like ginger ale is like tier 1.5. It's tier 1.5. So anyway, I would like to ask you all, do you hear words in your head when you think? Dr. Chill, Fanta, right? Like, yeah, right, yeah, right. And then like I say like tier 1.5 is like a regular ginger ale. It feels fancier because it's in the mixer aisle, but it's really not actually a fancier soda, but it just seems that way. But now I feel like Schweppes grape is like a tier. I feel like Schweppes is probably like a tier 1.5 again, because it feels fancier than like your regular tier 1 sodas like Fanta, etc. But it isn't really as fancy as like maybe a tier 2, which would be something like a San Pellegrino lemon or whatever. Why is it named Dr. Pepper? Legend has it that Morrison, the inventor, named it Dr. Pepper after the father of a young girl he was once in love with. Oh, that's interesting. Faygo Vanilla Pop next to Grandma's Furnace's words. Oh, that's a tier 2. Like, Faygo's a tier 2 because it's more exotic. Hey, Hulkster. I suppose it might actually be a little bit weird, PH. I suppose. Depends on, maybe. Embar Garwin! But that girl was cool and I could have named it after her, but man, her dad, maybe he loved her dad. I don't know. Or maybe he hated the dad and was like, I hate you, Dad. I'm gonna name my soda after you and I'm gonna make you suffer. I don't know. So I can hear songs in my head too, Atomic. I can hear full songs. I can just sit there and like hear songs. So the trick is gonna stop when they get stuck on repeat. That is actually hard because sometimes it just like pops up in my head. What about pineapple soda from a small factory? Definitely tier 2. Like a pineapple soda from a small factory, tier 2. Like for me, I feel like tier 0 are kind of like generics. Tier 1s are the sodas you can get everywhere. Tier 1.5s are sodas that you can get everywhere but seem like you can't. The name game. Come on, everybody. I said, now let's play a game. I bet you I can make a rhyme out of anybody's name. The first letter of the name, I treat it like it wasn't there. And then a B or an F, or an M will appear. And then I say bow at a B, then I say the name, then banana, fanner, and foe. Then I say the name again with an F, very plain, then a F, fi, and a mo. And then I say the name again with an M this time, and there isn't any name that I can't rhyme. Krellin, 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 Bobellin, Banana, Fana, Fofelin, Fee, Fi, Momelin. Krellin, Krellin. Thank you for that resub. It is much appreciated. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Aww. So now it's time to make Trooper sing. Never gonna get it, never gonna get it. Never gonna get it, never gonna get it. And Bar Garner wants to run a Les Miserables game. That sounds fun. But then you know there's something wrong with me because I do love a good historical. That's all. I have different things going on with the voices, either two me's or no voices at all. Oh, that's interesting, Levi. Huh. So yeah, I want to know if you all hear voices in your head. This is interesting to me. Krellin steals the melons. Steals over $10,000 worth of melons. And Tucker says, first off, I love that. So yeah, this is what I want to know. I want to know, do you hear voices in your head? Also, I have another question for you. Do you remember smells? Like sometimes, not often, it rarely happens, but sometimes I will smell a smell that is not there, that is actually a memory of a smell. Does that happen to you all? Like sometimes, Krellin has to steal enough melons for it to be a felony after all. That's true. You have to like steal a melon truck. I'm thinking. Cookster says, heck yeah, voices, songs, accents, conversations that never happened but could. Yeah, I hear those things all the time. And Bargard says, yeah, smells are the most memorable to me. Yeah, right? Also, I do not hear voices except when I do. Oh, interesting, Krellin. Takarush hears their own voice. No phantom smells for me, but if they're real, they can trigger memories. Yeah, like, honestly, I rarely have phantom smells, but every once in a while, I'll have a phantom smell. And it's not like lots of different smells. I remember I'll get phantom smells of the smell of a canteen, a military canteen. Like when you go to drink from a military canteen, you've had water in for a while, and then you go, like there's a particular kind of smell to that canteen that I would remember, or CS gas. I have a lot of Army phantom smells, actually. It's interesting. Yeah, and Cook's just like, yeah, smells for real. Krellin says, in that sometimes I have auditory hallucinations, likely caused by my brain trying to make sense of my tonights. Oh, that's interesting. That's interesting, Krellin. And Bar Garwin says, sometimes I dream in text. Oh, if you all dream and you remember your dreams, are they in color or black and white? I have color for the most part. And I also have like camera angles like movies. How is that? And quite often I'm not in my dreams. It's like third person, like they're not necessarily first person. I often will have third person dreams that I'm not in. But you all, how do you have it? Jared's like, what about a rootin' tootin' cowboy game? If I did, it would be an awesome one, and it would not be a gross one, is what I'm gonna say. Atomic says, oh my god, industrial track grease immediately brings me back to running around the armory where my dad worked as a kid. Right, like sometimes that happens. Oh, different perfumes remind you of girls you've dated. Yeah, sometimes you'll get that smell, you're like, oh, that one person, yeah. Hey, Cyclonus, how are you? Takarash, everyone has at least 3 voices. The one they hear when thinking, the one when they hear themselves speaking, and the one other. Oh, Levi says, milk out of the holding tank at Grandpa's milking parlor. Ooh, that's a good one too. Sometimes, yeah, some perfumes. And Bargren says, green text on black screen sometimes. Other times Technicolor. Oh, that's interesting. Ooh, that's interesting. With the tin cup. Thank you very much. Oh, when I was a kid and I lived in the mountains, I would sometimes have to milk the goats. So I remember, I have memories of milking animals. Atomica says, smelling coconut and vanilla together immediately reminds me of someone I'd rather not remember. That also happens. Weird Vector says, I have color dreams and phantom smells of my girlfriend. See, I think, by the way, I think this is really fascinating because I always thought that people just kind of, I don't know, same, you know what I mean? Like I thought that, but apparently we don't. And I think that's really interesting. Smell of cigarettes kind of embedded in fabric reminds me of my dad. Mm-hmm. Oh, my parents smoke too. When I smell vodka, I smell clear light blue. Oh, yeah, I have also sometimes that kind of light synesthesia where there are things that like sometimes tastes and colors will sort of come together, and sometimes sounds will be colors for me as well. Not often, not all the time, but every once in a while. Yeah, that whole unpasteurized milk that is fresh within hours tastes so different. It really does. Jer's like, oof, milking goats is the worst. And it is. Milking goats is the worst. I was a little kid, so I wasn't even very good at it. So I wasn't, basically, after they tried to get me to be able to do it a couple times and I was very bad at it, I was relegated to collecting eggs from the chicken coop. So I did not have to milk the goats, because that was not fun. Yeah, PH says the moral of our story, brains are weird, yo. Yeah, and I find that so interesting. Fear smells. Is that cat pee? Is that cat pee? Is there any cat pee anywhere? Actually, I do. Oh, or when you're smelling something and you're like, is this good? Is this good? And you don't know if it's good or not. Yeah, I totally get that. Milking goats is not that bad, says Takerosh. I was a little kid. I don't think I was very good at it yet. Atomica says, I get slightly aware when I'm dreaming. Like, I'll try and read something and I know you can't read in dreams, and I get annoyed because I know at that point I'm in a dream and I hate that I can't read it. Oh, that's interesting. You know, so I don't fall asleep quickly. Okay, so do you know, I'm finding out all about y'all today. I'm very excited about this. So did you know that there are people who apparently can fall asleep immediately? Like it takes them 5 minutes to fall asleep, whatever shenanigans that is. Like they lay down, apparently this happens. People lay down, put their head on the pillow, and then they go to sleep. I do not know those people. And that is not my life at all. I don't even have that experience. Levi's like, I close my eyes and I fall asleep, and Grumbleskin's like, I do that too. Jer is like, everything's going fine, and the goat's just like, this bucket belongs across the room now. PH says, like how neurotypical people ask, how are you, but they don't actually want to know. And Cookster's another one of those people. Levi's, I just decided to go to sleep and turn off. It's awesome. Javai's like, cheaters. Atomic says, I used to lucid dream so much, but I don't remember the last time I dreamed. Weird Fish is like, that sounds fake. So, right, for me, it takes me a really long time to fall asleep. Carlin's like, my brain is nothing like any of the brains described here. Like, but see, the thing is, I just wonder if everybody's brain's just a little bit different, and that's interesting, but we never talk about it. So like, it takes me a long time to fall asleep, and I don't think it's because I have insomnia. I think it's because I think too much. Like when I lay down to go to sleep, I just start. Weird Fish is like, falling asleep in less than an hour? Weird. Yeah, like I just think a lot. Like I lay down to go to sleep, and then I think, this is what happens. Okay, you are going to be now privy to my brain process. I lay down to fall asleep, and I think, okay, what would happen if I had superpowers? Okay, well, first off, how would I get superpowers? What is like a realistic way for me to get superpowers? Okay, so let's say, and it's not anxiety, it's just that I just think too much. I just think too much. Levi says, when I was little, I'd sleepwalk and like go into my parents' room and say weird shit. My mom was convinced that I could see the future because one night I said, Daddy's gonna die, and the next day he was in a minor traffic accident. Wow, I wonder what that's like. I've never sleptwalked before. And I also don't talk in my sleep. That's kind of a thing they ask you when you go into military intelligence. So I've never had those experiences, but like some people do, and that's interesting. Okay, says Peach, what's the first thing you would do if you had the ability to turn invisible? Oh. Invisibility is a weird power because we live in the future now, and we have heat sensors. Are you is this like Vampire the Masquerade invisibility where you're still visible to machines, or would I be invisible to machines as well? That's a question that I would have, right? Because if I'm visible to machines as well, Oh, it's up to me. Okay, well, if it's up to me, I would have to be invisible to everything, including like video cameras and whatnot. And then if I could go invisible, and I think what I would probably do is I would go and get access to behind the scene things that I've always been curious about, but I can't go to because I'd be in the way. Or also you just can't go behind the scenes. So like, for example, I would like go and spend the day at the Saturday Night Live studios and then just see what that production is like from the beginning of the day to when they actually film it. And just to see like, what is it like backstage at Saturday Night Live? That would be interesting. Or maybe I would go to like a Madonna concert and see like what it's like behind like, or any kind of like a Madonna concert or like a big metal concert, any kind of concert with like a huge production, and just like sit and see how the dancers move across the stage, how they get from one part of the stage to the next part of the stage. That would be really interesting. I think I'd learn a lot there. That's what I can think of at the moment. Like just being able to see if I could because I'm really interested in how things get made. Do you know what I mean? Like, oh, and like maybe I would maybe go to one of these reality shows like I don't know, like The Real World or RuPaul's Drag Race or something like that, where, you know, they film hours and hours but we only see small amounts. I think I'd go and then just see what that's like, see what it is that we're not seeing, what we're missing, so I could compare what it is that we do finally see on screen with what actually was done. I think I probably would do that. Yeah. Weird Vectors is like, my night thoughts are like, should I have said that? I'm actually a horrible person. Why did I say you too to the server when she told me to enjoy my meal 5 years ago? No, usually I'm just like, oh, what happens if I had superpowers? Well, how would I get them? And then I usually think about things like, how could I be a superhero and be a teacher? If I were a superhero and like did IT, no one would know if I were in my room or not, so I could get away with it. But like, I lecture in public, and you can't just like in the middle of lecture leave so that you can go do superhero stuff, because that would be really obvious. You can't be like, oh, I have to go to the bathroom and then go off and save stuff and then come back. So I think a lot about how would I logistically be a superhero with my current lifestyle, because being a superhero doesn't pay the bills, so I'd still have to work. So like, I think a lot about how to be a superhero with a full-time job. But that's honestly what I think about a lot, and I have worked this out in my mind quite often about how to do this. I have thoughts. That's all. Atomica says, I try and financially abuse invisibility. Like, be a magician and just F with people. Levi's like, 90 Day Fiancé. Like, yeah, because like we know these reality shows are super edited and they're not real what we're seeing, so I'd be really interested to seeing what the real thing would be. PH says, think I might infiltrate Republican meetings to prove they don't care about people. Something like that. But people wouldn't believe you. You know? Jer says, also one of the obfuscate options lets you be invisible to tech in V5. Oh, well, I don't have that one. Levi says, oh yeah, most of those shows are edited a lot. Right, so I'd love to see exactly how, right? Greatest American Hero style. Yeah, believe it or not, I'm walking on air. Never thought I could feel so free. Flying away on a wing and a prayer. Who could it be? Believe it or not, it's just me. That's all. I mean, being a superhero could pay the bills. Just how hard do you need to be? I just feel like, you know. Krellin says, I remember reading an article a while back about how Superman would be a better superhero if he used his superpowers to replace various space programs around the world, and then spent the money he earned that way improving the lots of poor people. Oh, well, that's interesting. PH is like, video evidence, just bring a camera. Like, if it's you have to be naked kind of power, that's a bit awkward. That's true. So I suppose it depends on whether or not you can actually have, whether or not you have to be naked or not. Like, are you the old Claude Rains Invisible Man kind of invisible, or can you have stuff with you? Get me pictures of that blasted Cape Scala. He's a menace. I don't know why my antagonist is like an old-timey person, but it's fine. Atomic's like, the Greatest American Hero was so horrible. Not even gonna pretend. So yeah, so okay, do you want to know? Here's the thing. This is how it's gonna work. If Superman really cared about the world, he'd save it by donating his body to solar energy research. Oh. I wonder if that would work. I wonder. So, what was I going to tell you? Superman can do nearly anything. Yes, I got it now, PH. Okay, so here's my thought. The only way that I could effectively be a superhero and not get caught and therefore kidnapped by the government, because that's the other thing. If I became a superhero and people found out that it was me, I'm sure the government would capture me and do experiments on me, which I would not enjoy. So, Superman OP. Not even sorry. Superman could just run on a treadmill to give the world waste-free energy. It's true. He could. Does Superman need to sleep, though? Superman does not adhere to the laws of thermodynamics. Okay, so I just figured if the government found out I had superpowers, they'd kidnap me, put me in a black site somewhere, and do experiments on me, and I would not appreciate that, and I do not want to be experimented upon in a black site. So I'd have to keep up like I'd have to have a mask. Like I'd have to do like a full face mask and everything, like a full one, Spider-Man style. And so the only way in which I think it would work is if I had control over time, right? So if I could hear there was some sort of trouble, stop time, fly or teleport to where the trouble is, stop the trouble, teleport back, unstop time, so then there'd be no evidence that I was anywhere other than where I'm at. So I could be in the middle of class and be like, here I am lecturing on the Shangri-Las. Oh, trouble. So I'd also have to have like super hearing or whatever, so I could hear if there's trouble somewhere and be like, oh, stop time, fly off, teleport, fix the problem, come back, Shangri-Las, right? The only thing is that black sites are part of black culture in a bad way. PH. So that I just feel like, you have to, but here's the other thing that I'd worry about. Like, I still have to go to sleep, right? Because if I have to go to sleep, like, I just feel like, so here's the problem. I'm kind of a people pleaser. Do you know what I mean? I have a hard time saying no to things, and I can be guilty. I can feel guilty about things that are, even things that are not my fault. I can feel guilty pretty easily. So if I had superhero powers like teleportation or whatever, there are problems happening all over the world all the time, and I would feel guilty taking a shower, going to the bathroom, taking a nap, going to sleep, having dinner, because when I'm eating dinner, somebody's suffering somewhere, and I should probably just go and do the thing. But then, like, I just feel like you could, like, that's one of those things where it would be really problematic. Right? Because like, you have to sleep, but then how can you sleep if you know you could stop something and like save somebody? I just think that would be really, I think that'd be really difficult. Yeah, Peach is like, yeah, that's a lot of what Superman has to deal with. Yeah. Batman's real superpower was insomnia. Yes. Running yourself ragged is not a superpower. Repeat, not a superpower. Yes, this is true. So, those are the things that I ponder. Those are the things that I ponder. Yes. So y'all, let me tell you about some things that are happening. When Superman has dinner with Lois, a bunch of people get murdered in the meantime, and he can hear them. Yeah, that's just like super rough. Do you know what I mean? The real trick is to become callous to the suffering of mortals, and then you become Dr. Manhattan. And then you go off to Mars and stop hanging out. So, I wanted to tell you something. That's Feasible Trooper. William Myers was a college educator, and he hid that he was George the Animal Steel in WWE for quite... Did he really? What? What? Atomica? 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 You have just blown my mind and made me really excited hardcore right now. Because I remember, of course, George the Animal Steel. Of course I do, because I'm of that age where I remember George the Animal Steel, and he was a college professor? Hey, Origami Shuriken. We just found out from Atomica that the wrestler from WWF, George the Animal Steel, was a college professor, and people didn't know that he was both a college professor and also a professional wrestler. And that is amazing. That is amazing. Amazing. What? That's amazing. Why don't we have a movie about this? Could we have a movie? Could we have a movie where George the Animal Steel? Can we have a George the Animal Steel movie? Could we have that? I am so excited about this. This is super cool. I like that. I am very pleased by this information. In Michigan. You know, okay, here's how I feel like you hide it. Well, it's tricky because I feel like don't your college students watch wrestling? But maybe they don't. But I could totally imagine your colleagues never knowing because maybe your colleagues don't watch wrestling. How do you explain having the outline of a folding chair across his face? I just think that's so interesting. Speaking of which, I've not seen The Watchmen because I don't have HBO, so I've got to go and find out if it's available like on Amazon Prime or something. That would be interesting. That is, I also need to watch the most recent season of Glow, which I haven't seen yet. I've only seen the first 2 seasons. So like I need to. Oh, Atomica. Hey, Strike Red Kite. How are you doing? We just Atomica told us the coolest thing, that George the Animal Steel, the wrestler, the WWF wrestler from the 80s, was a college professor, but he was able to hide the fact that he was a wrestler, a professional wrestler on television from his colleagues for like a couple of years. And that's amazing to me. Strike's like, I remember the animal. I'm old. Okay, just some wrestling questions. Oh, I don't know if you know this. Hawk KY, who's part of the Tales from the Grimm community, he makes like the people in the RPG shows. He makes WWE versions of them, and then he has them fight, and he streams that. And he did me / my characters. That was pretty cool. But speaking of wrestling, I'm just thinking about my wrestlers from back in the day. Strike says, well, that was in the area where you'd have wrestlers faking being okay after a helicopter accident, so they didn't reveal that rivals were friends off camera. Atomica said his students accused him, but he always denied it. None of them could travel all the way to New York on weekends to prove it. Oh, that's so interesting. I guess the question would be, was the college he was a professor in at the territory he wrestled in? Oh, yeah. Right? That's So for me, like my wrestling, right? My wrestling, I was not a wrestler, but my wrestling watching was that era, right? So the rock and wrestling era, right? So Hulk Hogan, Randy the Macho Man Savage, British Bulldogs, The Ultimate Warrior, Jimmy the Steamboat Dragon, who I loved, Ricky the Steamboat Dragon, Jimmy Superfly Snuka, both those. I like the people who did the aerials. I like them a lot. I like the acrobatics. Wendy Richter, the Fabulous Moolah, Andre the Giant, of course, Iron Sheik. Who else? Yeah. Bret Hart, the Hart Foundation, of course, right? Who else? My gosh, who else was running around at that point in time? I'm trying to think. Rowdy Roddy Piper, of course. The Undertaker was a little bit later, but still in that era. Sergeant Slaughter? Yeah, TV didn't necessarily cross territories, so you could hide in theory. That's true. Yeah. Although you're getting kind of national stuff by the time you hit the sort of mid-'80s, but yeah, that makes sense. George Animal Steel, Sergeant Slaughter, right? Weird, but Bret Hart was a mid-card tagger during the Rock. Was a mid-card tagger during the Rock and Wrestling era. He was, but I remember him coming like a little bit like. Who else? The Vane guy. What's his face? what's his face? What's his face? The Vane guy, blonde. Ric Flair. Ric Flair. But also there was another person. Money. He was a money guy. Like had the dollar sign. It wasn't Macho Man Savage. Was it Jeff? DiBiase. Yes, it was DiBiase. Thank you. It was DiBiase. I was thinking of DiBiase. Yeah. $1 Million Man. Yeah, DiBiase. Thank you. Yes, that's right. Oh my gosh. You all are bringing me back to back in the day. Oh, yeah, it was DiBiase. Oh. Who else? And the only women I knew at the time really were the Fabulous, who, not in Glow, but in WWF, was Wendy Richter and Fabulous Moolah. And I kind of loved the Fabulous Moolah because she was kind of cool. Does he really? Oh. Was there anyone else? I feel like there's somebody else. Who else was running around? Ric Flair, of course. Ricky the Steamboat Dragon was one of my faves. And I love Jimmy the Superfly Snuka. Like, people who do the really good aerials, I loved them. Like, I love seeing the people who were just like amazing on the top rope. That was awesome. And I'm gonna tell you, brother. Ooh, that era, Luna Vachon was the bitch, and I say that with love. Yeah. Yes. Oh yeah. Oh. But I also, at that time, I was also watching roller derby. And there was this woman who played on the Bay Area Bombers, and her name was Ann Calvello, also known as Fiery Ann Calvello. And Fiery Ann Calvello is one of the coolest people. She's no longer alive, but she started roller derby in 1939. So she did roller derby in the 30s, the 40s, the 50s, the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, the 90s. And I think she had her last roller derby appearance in like 2001 or 2. So she had like done roller derby like all of those decades. And she was sort of like, she was a bit of a heel, because it was, who was like, Joni Weston was like the face, was the baby face, and Ann Calvello was sort of like the heel. And Ann Calvello, man, she would like dye her hair all these wild colors, and then she would like elbow you in the head. She was amazing. And just to like think about, like, I have feelings about roller derby, very positive feelings about old school roller derby. I love old school roller derby. Carlin says, the closest I've gotten to watching wrestling is playing a wrestling TTRPG my friend invented and watching Glow on Netflix. Oh, was a wrestling TTRPG good? I've got a game called Contenders, which is boxing, but you could also do wrestling. I think you use cards for it. It's like a little indie game that is all about kind of like the emotions of being a professional martial artist, like boxer or a wrestler or something like that. Maybe I should run a one-shot. Maybe I should do that. Everybody, maybe I should do it, and maybe I should get Marcus to be in it. Just throwing it out there. That's all I'm saying. Cyclona says, I watched the Crush Gals from Japan and get some of those women from that time. It was like they're from two different worlds. Oh, I wish I could see that footage. Atomica says, I can go on about wrestling for ages. If you like athletics and high flying, I gotta find and send you a vid on Discord. Please do. I want to see it. Please send it to me. Carlin says, it was pretty good. We played a little wrestling in ring, and he made with muscle figurines. Oh, that's cool. I was just writing that Marcus would love it. See, I'm just saying, I feel like, ooh, cheers. Do you know what that means? B-Right says, seems unfair to make troopers sing for the captain's table, but I'm sure it will work out in the end. Oh, Cyclones, if you can find a video, I would like some good wrestling videos in our medium musings, for the record. And then also, sorry, I haven't been able to sing in a while. So, I'm gonna sing We're in the Money in Pig Latin. As sung by Ginger Rogers in the film Gold Diggers in 1933. Thank you so much for those bits, Be Right. And here we go. I'm in a good mood. I have to write a final exam after I stream tonight, but I'm still in a good mood because I know what my unprepared essay is going to be, so we're all good. And Irway and hey, the anime. Irway and hey, the anime. Iway at gale at way up, way at way at wakes to ute at gale and way. Irway and hey, the anime. Either ice skates or ani say, oh man, did yes and pray, ooh, I, ooh, three of us down way on rail. Ewe every eat red lands lay, red brands lay, ooh, take day. And when we see the Lord will look that the eye get in the eye. We're in the money, we're in the money. We've got a lot of what it takes to get along. Ha ha. That makes me so happy. That makes me so happy. I put a matchup in Media Musings for later. Oh, Ricochet versus Will Ospreay. Ooh. I'm so excited. I think you sang it more than Ginger Rogers ever did. I think it's yours now. Maybe. Thank you, Atomica. Galfork says, someone go about transferring those rights over there. Oh. So, by the way, I think I've told you all that for City of Light and Shadow, for the pre-show music, I'm playing the song Wine and Boy Blues by Jelly Roll Morton. And I'm getting these copyright claims, and I got them from two different companies, but one is being more persistent than the other. And I have disputed these copyright claims because the song is in the public domain. It went to the public domain January of 2019. So the song is in the public domain. And not based on year, because it's actually from 1939. The song was put out in 39, but Jelly Roll Morton died more than 70 years ago. So like, basically it's in the public domain. That's what I'm trying to say. And so they're like, this is our song, we're gonna monetize your videos and make money off your videos. And so the way that it works with YouTube is that when somebody puts this copyright strike on you and they say they have the rights to the song, what you have to do is dispute it. And the dispute goes to them. The dispute goes to the person who made the claim, and then they decide if they want to accept your dispute or not. And the first 3 videos, the disputes have gone through, and they've accepted my dispute. But this last one for episode 5, I just got a message back saying that they just don't accept my dispute. And I'm like, the song's in the public domain. You don't actually have the right to the song. They're just like, no, we disagree. And like, so I think this is I feel like this is a bad system. Do you know what I mean? Like, I feel like this is a bad system because what it does is it allows, because YouTube doesn't look at this at all. They just pass it back and forth between the people, which means that anybody who wants to basically do copyright trolling can just do it, and really there's nothing to stop them at all. You know? It's no good. It's no good. Atomica, you will not be annoying. I've heard so much about the bad copyright system YouTube uses. Yeah, it's really bad. Yes, Galforx, yes, I agree you may challenge me. And I just don't take the challenge, you know? Psychona says, I also posted Crush Gals versus Judy Martin and Donna Cristianello. Chisuga Nyago still wrestles from time to time. She was in one of the last shows in Japan where they shut down for COVID. Oh, wow. Oh, I'm excited to watch that one too. YouTube doesn't want a good system. They want a system that costs them the least amount of money while being acceptable to advertisers, and also the least amount of work on their part. And that's true, Levi. That is true. Galfark says, what? Companies willing to troll individuals just cause they know they most probably won't fight it? I can't imagine. This is where we're at. Javai says, isn't there also no repercussions for falsely claiming something, but getting a claim is bad? Yes. And they before you put in your claim, because there's like a little form, before you put in your claim, they tell you that you can be punished, not claim your dispute. Before you put in your dispute, they have a little message saying that you can be punished for submitting disputes falsely. So like, I can be punished for disputing these claims falsely. I just feel like it's a bunch of questionability. And of course, it's one of the things where I am not a partner on YouTube. I am not a YouTube partner. My YouTube channel is not monetized in any way, because in order to be a YouTube partner and be monetized, you need a whole lot of followers and a whole lot of views. You need a whole lot of stuff that I do not have. So I'm not making money off my channel anyway, but I think it's uncool that there are people out there who are making money off of my channel and they actually don't have the right to at all. Do you know what I mean? Like, I find that sketch. I find that sketch. Those are my feelings. I wanted to tell you, we do have a giveaway for today, and the giveaway for today is called Blasphemous, and it's an indie action-adventure game that I will give away, you know, at some time. It'll be fun. There's also, you know, here's the thing. I haven't seen you in a while. I have not streamed my video game stream in a while, so I've missed you. I have missed you, everybody. That's all. It's been like I didn't stream video games last week at all. I mean, I was streaming last week. Let me tell you, I was all over the internet last week, but I didn't stream my video game, so I didn't have time to hang out with you, so I missed you all. I just want you to know it. Blasphemous is a great game. Oh, good. This is our giveaway. A Metroidvania, difficult but fair. Oh, nice. Oh, good. I'm excited. I can't play it because it is not Mac compatible, but I'm excited. So I need to tell you all something, everyone. I will not be streaming on Saturday for the next 2 Saturdays. Why? Because I will be GMing a Good Society over on Roll For It. I don't know why I'm pointing over there. It's like Roll For It lives over there in that next room. They don't. They live on the internet somewhere. But I will be GMing a Good Society, a game called The Captain's Table is our campaign, a 2-shot over on Roll For It for the next 2 Saturdays, so I will not be Roll For It due north. There it is. I will tell you the costuming is gonna be great. I'm very excited for this, and that's what I'm doing for the next 2 Saturdays. So I will not be streaming my Saturday show here. Although maybe I'll do a Saturday evening. Maybe I'll do a Saturday evening. We'll see. And then I need to tell you one more thing. Don't get mad at me. But one more thing. I committed to playing a Good Society game over on Table Story. And they said, would you do a Good Society game on Table Story? And I've been wanting to work with Table Story for a while because I adore Pumpkinberry. And I said yes. And the game was going to be 3 to 6, I think, or like maybe like 3 to 7. It was gonna be like before my stream, and I was like, oh, that'll be fine. So I said yes. So like I'd like do the Good Society stream and then immediately come over and do my stream. But the times have changed, and so the Good Society stream is going to be during my stream on Thursdays. So, oh, hey Falcon, thank you very much. Thank you so much for all the love. So, I thank you, Levi. This is what I mean. As soon as we get the means to make our own stuff, you know I'm making a Jersey Shore RPG so hard. I'm doing a reality show hack, and you don't even know it. You don't even know it. You don't even know it. So I am going to not be able to do my Thursday streams, I think, in May. I think it's gonna be like a 4-shot. So I think I won't have my Thursday streams in May. And because I miss you when you're not here, but I'll have my Saturday streams. I'll be back on Saturday, no problem. But because I will miss you on Thursday, I might see if I can do a pickup stream somewhere. But it's gonna look like Bar Garwin, let me tell you what my life is going to be like. I am going to be doing Overlight on Little Red Dot's channel on Wednesday. I will be doing a Good Society on Thursday. I'm going to be doing Aether's Walkway, which is a Cypher System game on Tales from the Grim, Friday afternoon. City of Light and Shadow Friday evening. My stream on Saturday, PS4 stream on Saturday, and then Offworld on Sunday. So that's 6 streams a week, with perhaps a couple of little one-shots thrown in there, like Prax's Classics on Twitch. I'll do some of those readings. I'm going to be doing this reading, not this coming Sunday, but next Sunday over on Rocket Fox's channel. We'll be doing The Tempest, and I'm not going to be able to do some of the prep I need to do until this weekend when I finish. I've got a bunch of things I got to get done by because I'm, I've got to get prepped for that game on Saturday. And I've got to get my final exam done. But the point is that there might be some music. There might be some music for The Tempest, which I might need to do some compositions for that. I might need to do some compositions, which I'll have to do next week. And I need to sort of pop into Ghosts of Saltmaw again as well. So I'm just saying that fun fact, there exists a terrible 2D Les Mis fighting game. Really? I think I might want to play it. I think that I could really see a cool sandbox Les Mis game, sort of like The Godfather. I could see it. So now, in my defense, Good Society is only 2 sessions, so that will be done not this week but next week. The Capers game is only 4 sessions, and that Capers game is on Sundays, and we've already done one, so we only have 3 more of that one, so that one will be done pretty soon. So it's a lot right now, but Galfork, wait, Galfork, look, don't worry about Nightbot. Galfork, I'm adding you as a regular. Hold on a second. Red Ag Galfork. You may now post links. And so that's a 4. So some of these things are actually shorter length. So like my June will be much better, is all I'm trying to say. You're welcome, Galfork. You are a regular. You are not irregular. Falcon is in 5 games and can relate. Yeah. I'm only running 1 game and that's enough for me right now. Whew. I try not to GM more than 1 game, mainly because I really like, I get a little intense about my GMing, I think, and I spend a lot of time thinking about my GMing and wanting to, like, I'm a little intense about my GMing, so I don't really want to GM multiple games. I don't mind playing in multiple games, but I don't necessarily want to GM multiple games, if that makes any sense. I mean, I think I could do, like, right now I'm GMing City of Light and Shadow, and I'm doing a 2-shot of Get Society, which is fine. But I wouldn't want to do, I don't think I'd want to GM 2 big campaigns, unless one of those campaigns was, I don't know about that, because like I do a lot actually, right? Like in terms of, like, when it comes to City of Light and Shadow, I spend like an hour or 2 after the show is over just doing post-show work, and then I spend a lot of time doing prep, and I still am not reading as many, like, I have many books I want to read that I do not currently have that I want to read for that, but it's fine. So I just don't think I'd want to do GM 2 long campaigns. I think it might be a little bit much, depending. Galfork says Judgment is a character in it. They're also robots, because remember those from Revolutionary France? Okay, I'm going to copy this link, and I'm going to put this link right now in my browser, because that is a thing that I'm going to clearly need to look at in my life. That is a true statement. I'm bad enough with how much I branch 1 game to run more. I'd get so much mixed up. Yeah. Galfork says, there's no such thing as too much gymming. Trevor, your creativity is boundless. Do you know what I think would be really interesting, though? Here's what I could do. Well, I don't think I would want to run 2 separate campaigns at the same time, like long campaigns. I think what I would be excited to do and be really interested in doing is running 2 different groups in the same game world. That I'd be interested in doing, right? Like doing creativity, balance, attention span. Yes, but I would do that. Like I would do a multi-party, like 2 parties in the same campaign world. I would do that. That would be interesting. And I feel like there are a lot of different ways you can do it. Running them against each other or parallel events or different periods of the same simultaneous. I would want them to be in the same world, right? In the same time period. 70s Jersey Shore RPG. Telling you. I'm going to do a Jersey Shore Good Society. You don't know it, but I know it, and it's gonna happen. Like, you just need to know it. B writes says, well, Sirrah, it will be most pleasant to see you stretch yourself and perform with your enjoyment, as I'm sure you will, with most pleasant and tuneful communications. Indeed. Strike Red says, I did a dual group one work game, sorta. I had a high-level D&D game, and their villains were all portrayed by friends. They weren't a proper game. I handled the dice and whatnot, but they determined their plans and strategy. So that's cool. Right? Fun. Origami Shuriken, you were awesome. You're awesome. I believe. So here's the thing. When I was a youngin', I was in this great Call of Cthulhu game with 30 players. I think it's one of the longest running, continuously run RPGs campaigns in the world, because it's still running today, and it started in like 1980 or whatever. Galfork, are you familiar with the Geordie Shore? I am. UTAG's take on Jersey Shore. The simulators are amazing, except that they're way more drunk. They are way more drunk in Geordie Shore. It's sometimes alarming. That's all. Strike Red says, it helped me a lot, so I didn't fear metagaming of the villains because I could hear the PC's plans. Yeah. Oh, Galfork, Geordie Shore, man. Wow. I just hope none of them get alcohol poisoning because I worry about them. But it was like 30 players, and we all, like 1920s Call of Cthulhu, and it was like 30 players, and those 30 players were in like 7 different groups. That's about right, 7 groups. And we would basically be able to play, maybe a little bit less than 7. We would basically be able to play once every 3 weeks. Our group would be able to, like, we'd sign up on the calendar, and she would GM every Saturday and Sunday and take one of those weekends off, one weekend day off. So like she'd take one Sunday off. So like she would there'd be like 7 sessions a month, and we'd all sign up for the sessions. I think there were probably like 5 groups or something. Anyway, so we'd sign up and we would play maybe once every 3 to 4 weeks. But all of the groups were all in the same universe, and sometimes they knew each other. We were all trying to stop, the bad things from happening. And I was playing a character who was in, and each of the groups had names, Junior G-Men, the Islanders, the Egypt group. Like, there are these different names to sort of like tell you who they were. And one of my characters started off with the Junior G-Men, but then moved over and joined the Islanders group because it made sense for my character. And so people could actually move between groups. Sometimes 2 groups might come together to do something. And once every game year, which was like once every 5 years real time, we would do a big New Year's Eve thing where all 30 players would come together. They would sort of get a hotel room together, a hotel lobby, and we would have like a LARP where we all met to sort of discuss the events of that year in character and what our plans were for the next year and how to stop the things that man was not meant to know. It was pretty great. And that, of course, would be very successful, be one of my models for the future. It is rumored that they do have blood in their alcohol stream. Yeah, I'm just saying, be right. Demo runs a Shadowrun game with 3 groups running in the same world. Oh, that's awesome. Like, I think those things are really interesting to see how things interact. Now, I think it might be a little bit easier if you run it historical or fantasy, where if you run it in a place where you don't have either phones or sending spells. Although it is now 2020, because when I was running this I was playing this game in the 80s and 90s, but it is now 2020 and people have cell phones, which does mean that I suppose you could theoretically text people in game, right? So you could just text them, like during a session, and text and see if people would respond. So that's interesting. Like, I'd be into it. Look, while we're here, I'm gonna just start up the game. I don't know what's gonna happen, but I'm just gonna start it up. Just so you know it. Oh yeah, I'm in this kind of like, I don't know what I'm seeing kind of space. Also, I have no idea what my buttons do because it's been 2 weeks. Yeah, I might not be able to play this game. Yeah. So... I don't know how to play the game. No? Oh, I'm close. All right. I'm totally off though, but it's fine. Demo runs the 3 groups share a Shadowlands-style bulletin board on Discord. Okay. Oh. Well, look at that. I can just follow them now. It's fine. There we go. No. Great. I just lost it. All right. Yeah. And now I just I forgot how to jump. Yeah, I am jump? So I think I am getting the extra height, right? Yes, I am doing it. So I am getting extra height. I suppose that's it. We got it. It's fine. We learned how to play the game again. It's all right. Oh, we're looking for a castle, and we just found it. So, look, everybody. I've been thinking a lot. Doing a lot of RPGs right now. Classes. By the way, I had my last class today. In case you wanted to know, I had my last class, and it made me tear up a little bit. Life is a constant series of discovery and rediscovery. Yes. Oh. Let's go the other way. So I had my last class today. I say that, but that's actually not necessarily true. That's kind of not true. I just sort of lied to you. I'm sorry. I don't know why I did that. I mean, how has continued schooling been in this brave new world? It's actually tough. It's actually really tough because you have to do a lot of emotional labor. Like, the students are not motivated to do their work, but they have to do their work. So it's a lot of them being stressed out and having a hard time adjusting to their life. And then me doing I'm doing a lot of work to try to create community for them and sort of keep the community that they made so that they don't feel isolated and alone. So it's a lot of work, plus all the tech stuff. I mean, I'm really lucky that I'm a streamer so that I can actually, it wasn't that hard for me to just stream my classes. I think for my colleagues, it maybe was a little bit less difficult, but there's still a lot of things going on, like how do we do our exams and So I've had to learn a lot of new things as well as do a lot of stuff. And I don't mind it because I care about them, but it's a lot. And it's a lot for them, so it's a lot for me. But we had our last official class today. Tonight, I have to make my final exam so we can get it put online for them. My lecture class's final paper is due Saturday. That means then once Saturday happens, which after Good Society, then it's going to be grading for me and my TA. And then on May 1st, which I think is Thursday, it's going to be a long day for me. Yes. Or it's a Friday. I think it's a Friday because I think I've got 3 things I have to do that day. That Friday, I'm going to have oral presentations for my seminar. So all my students are going to present their papers, and then I've got grading for that. And then we got to do all of that grading. And then give them feedback. They'll turn, and then the 6th and 7th will be this final exam, which somehow is going to happen. I don't know how. And then on the 8th, I've got final papers for my seminar, and that has to be all done before Monday morning, because Monday morning at 9 o'clock is when all the grades for the finals for the seniors and the master students are due. So between now and like May 11th is going to be a little bit intense, because that's where like all of my school stuff is happening and all of my grading, school stuff, and then a lot of RPGs. And I really need to get an apartment in Ithaca, New York so I can move. That is just a thing I have to do. What? The name game. Come on, everybody. I said, now let's play a game. I bet you I can make a rhyme out of anybody's name. The first letter of the name, I treat it like it wasn't there. And then a B or an F or an M will appear. And then I say bow at a B, then I say the name, then banana, fanner, and foe. And then I say the name again with an F very plain, then a fee, fi, and a mo. And then I say the name again with an M this time, and there isn't any name that I can't rhyme. Crit twitch, bow bit twitch, banana, fanner, fo, fit twitch, fee, fi, mo, mit twitch. Fit a twitch. Crit a twitch. Crit a twitch. Hello, Crit Twitch. How are you? I hope you're doing well. I love your name. That is all. So many things. All the things, so many things. That's just ridiculous to be Jer. I know. Yeah, so I might be doing a little bit of Bardy things for this Tempest show. Speaking of which, I think I'm going to do something a little bit radical with my facial hair for Saturday if I have the time. Rissa, the name game. Come on, everybody. I said, now let's play a game. I bet you I can make a rhyme out of anybody's name. The first letter of the name, I treat it like it wasn't there. And then a B or an F or an M will appear. And then I say bow at a B, then I say the name, then banana, fanner, and foe. And then I say the name again with an F very plain, then a fee, fi, and a mo. And then I say the name again with an M this time, and there isn't any name that I can't rhyme. Rissa, bo, bissa, banana, fanna, fo, fissa, fee, fi, mo, missa. Rissa. Thank you both for the resubs. Rissa's been playing Pillars of Eternity that she got from our giveaway, and I feel like Rissa has been enjoying it, perhaps, maybe? Maybe yes? I should have put that pipe in the middle that time. Oh, yeah. My combo game is off today. You know, it's fair. It's fair. Are you enjoying Pillars of Eternity, Rissa? By the way, work. No, I don't. I judge your work. I do not judge you. So, Rissa is my GM for the Call of Cthulhu game that I'm in. We play once a month. we've been playing for years, and here's the thing about Call of Cthulhu. Yeah, still working, Philia. Oh, right, work. Work, lurk. So here's the thing about Call of Cthulhu. Call of Cthulhu is a sort of a game that has an interesting tension to it, which I find really fascinating. And the tension is this. Oh, wait, oh my gosh, please tell me, you're the Overseer? The Overseer, Meow, is not. Oh. I guess that's okay too. Well, is the Overseer around? I came a really long way to see them. My master, the Dream King, is taking a nap, and he can't see you till he's awake. Oh, okay. How long are his naps usually? Usually a few years. What? I gotta wait a few years? Meow said usually. This last nap has been going for centuries. I don't have centuries. Please, can you wake him up? I'm on a very important quest. Meow understands, but Mr. Dream King does not like to be woken. You gotta be kidding me. I can do it if you're too scared to. I can sing real loud. That's like my thing. That is not going to work. Only the bell atop the castle could do it. I should not have told you that. Do not ring the bell. I'm totally going to. Ah, no. We're going to ring the bell. Rissa says, and yes, enjoying Pillars of Eternity, although it's a very dark sort of game. I just got a quest from a dude to have his foster child sacrificed and a counter quest from his son to poison him. Not sure I want to do either. Then don't do either. You don't have to do them, right? You should be able to not do them. I need a kitty butterfly in my life, although that seems like a bad thing. Maybe. Hello, Anarch Dubby. Don't join in with the Meowderfly's puns. Definitely join in with the Meowderfly's puns. I feel like that is what needs must happen, without a doubt. Up there. Yeah, you get a lot of them. Shady moral decisions in that one. As soon as you get to its piratical sequel at some point. I do need to. I don't think so. They are. Yeah, I feel like maybe don't. That's my thought on that one. Like, if there's a thing that you don't want to do, don't do it. Don't do this. How are you going to stop me? Ow. Hey. Ow. 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 Hey. Stop that. Yeah, don't do that. That's rude. So look. Ouch. So, look, I really want to... ouch. I would be a little bit more... look, I want to talk about the tension in Call of Cthulhu, but this kittenfly is... Haven't you had enough yet? Nope. I don't see what the big deal is. This is like his job, right? I'll learn the song and then he can go back to sleep. You can see there's no stopping you. But if you bring that determination with you, Mr. Dream King is sure to help you out. Meowbie. Oh. Mr. Dream King really is a nice guy. Just ask him nicely. Oh. That fairy's a real jerk. See what I mean about that being a bad thing? I tried not to do a quest earlier and wound up getting chased by multiple groups of assassins and earning the enmity of an important family. Well, sometimes consequences. I'm watching The Terror, a horror show about the Franklin expedition, and the whole history behind the expedition is fascinating, even if horrifying. Oh, that sounds exciting. Look, this is a thing that I should do, but I'm not going to do it right now because I have to tell you this thing. What I think is fascinating about Call of Cthulhu is that there's this real tension, and the tension is between research and action. Yeah, tension in Cthulhu. Research versus action. Planning versus action. In that if you go into a sequence with not enough information, you're probably going to die and fail, and it will be bad, right? Call of Cthulhu is not a game that rewards you for just charging into a place with no information. On the other hand, if you research too long and don't do action, then the villains will carry out their plans and they will raise Dread Cthulhu, and that is also no good, right? So there is this really interesting talk about Anarch-W. So there's a really interesting tension that you have in Call of Cthulhu between getting the information so you don't die because you don't know what's going on, and getting too much information and not acting. And that's a really interesting tension, because a lot of games don't really encourage you to do investigation at all, because you don't necessarily need to. You just like go in there and you like, exploration but not investigation, right? So what is it? Ooh, how about a little bit of RPG theory, huh? So the OSR folks talk about the 3 pillars of any RPG, and that is exploration, social, and combat. And the OSR people like to say that old school D&D was full of exploration, as if everybody was doing hex crawls, which they weren't, by the way. I don't know what old school they were in, but Isle of Dread was a great module, but it wasn't like hex crawls were like the thing. Anyway, so, and they talk about those 3 pillars of D&D, right? Social, combat, and exploration. And I suppose you could sort of think of exploring the dungeon as exploration, like the mapping of the dungeon part where you walk into the dungeon and the GM says, you walk in, you have a 10-foot corridor that goes down 50 feet before you lose sight of it with your torches. And then you're like going down the torch, and then like there's a doorway 40 feet in on your left, and you're sitting there making your map on your graph paper, and you don't ever, like, the GM never gives you the map. You just have to map it yourself and hope that you're correct in your mapping as you explore this dungeon inch by inch, tapping with your 10-foot pole each square ahead of you so that if there's a pit trap, you don't fall into it. Yeah. Like, so we're there. But what D&D does not actually have is investigation, which is not the same as exploration. And I think that sort of 3 pillar of social, combat, exploration does ignore investigation, wherein you go to a library and investigate for a while, which is not the same thing as exploring. And there are games where investigation is really, really important, and Call of Cthulhu is one of them. But the thing is, you can over-investigate, and if you investigate too long, then people are sacrificed, and that's bad. If you don't investigate, you don't realize that this person is immune to bullet fire and you're in trouble, right? So that's really interesting to me to think about that tension. And I thought about this a lot because of the game that I'm in right now with Rissa. Yeah, also if you read the wrong thing, your brain melts, but if you don't read the things, then you won't know the things you need to know in order to stop the things that melt the brains. So there's a tension, like, don't read the book, but if you don't read the book, that's no good for you either. It's excellent. Really? That would never happen in our game. Anarch-W says, so in 18th and 19th century England was looking for a shorter trade route to Asia, and believed it was an Arctic Canada that was called, it was called the Northwest Passage. Ooh. Galfork says, sometimes you read the right thing, your brain melts. This is also true. Yeah, that all boils down to a single skill in D&D 5e. Definitely a system, but mostly for fighting. Yeah. So one of the things I was thinking, and also, but let's note, there weren't actually skills in D&D First Edition, so there's that. So what's interesting about our particular group, I think, my analysis, Rissa, you don't have to listen to this because you're a GM, you can ignore it, is that our group, there are a lot of things we need to do in order to investigate, but we need to do them during the day very often. Like we need to go to like county courthouses and those offices where they keep deeds and all that kind of stuff. Hey, listen, you just have to not be the slowest. Well, that's fair. You don't be the fastest, just not the slowest. So there are a lot of things we need to do, and we have been very busy with non-investigative things. There have been things trying to murder us. We've been running around. We have been lost in other dimensions. Like, we've had a lot of things. Mostly these things, I think, are traps set for us by the villains. So we've been hampered in our investigation, so we've not been able to get some of the things done we needed to get done to be able to sort of... We got some things done. My character and another character have been a little bit more... There have been a couple of us that are a bit more heavy on the investigation, but we do get caught in traps. Slow is relative. Once the beast eats the old doctor, you think the young college guy is going to be home free, but yeah, this is true. This is fair. Being at the library all the time makes you easier to find over the long haul. That is also true. So we've been like being followed. People are trying to get us. And the thing is, the last session, so I'm going to tell you, Rissa knows because she's the GM. And there are things that I don't know because I'm just a player. But there are some villains. We thwarted the villains' plans a couple of years ago in real time. They were going to do a ceremony, probably to bring Azathoth into the world, which is a super bad idea, but you know how they are, cultists. And we stopped that from happening with a lot of fire and some shooting of cultists. But nonetheless, we stopped it from happening. We also destroyed like a heart in a jar that was still beating. We did some stuff. We did a good job. We stopped the villains. The villains, however, did not just quit, as it turns out. They tried to find some alternative means to get their plans done. And they have an artifact that when they kill people, it takes those people's souls or something like this and stores it in this artifact. They think that if they kill like 100 people or 500 people, some large number of people, it will allow them to get access to this bad being that will allow them to get all this ultimate power. It's never how this works for them. But what the villains don't realize, or maybe they do realize and they don't care, is that every time they kill someone, it makes the line, the line between, the veil between here and there thinner. And the line between here and there is getting thinner and thinner and thinner. And like we have a little ghost girl that hangs out with one of our party members who's becoming a little bit more corporeal and a little bit more corporeal. And it's a little bit easier to get into ghost realms. And we just recently got stuck in a ghost realm and we did not mean to. So that was awkward. And we had to get out. That took a while. So the line, the veil between these things is getting thinner and thinner, which my character pointed out last session means that they're murdering people all the time right now somewhere, and every time we don't do something, they're killing someone. And like, if the line between the here and there collapses, it's all bad for everyone. So I kind of lit a fire on the team, but the problem is we don't know where the villains are conducting their research. My character is like, here's my best guess. I feel like it might be here, but we don't actually know if it's there. And it's Friday night, so we can't go to like county records at all. So my character's like, we just need to go to this one place that's our most likely place. If it's not there, we go to one of the, like, we've got a couple of places that are all really far away and take a lot of travel. But if we wait until Monday, it might be too late. And people are getting murdered. So we're going to do a little bit of breaking and entering to a local place. And then we're probably going to try to fly out to this sort of farther out place. And hopefully there'll be stuff for us there, but we don't actually know. And so like there's this sort of pressure, like I feel like we need to go and get on it because it's getting desperate and we don't know how much time we have left before it all collapses. But we also don't have as much information as we should, and some of our allies are missing. So it's a little rough. Clearly you just need to convince smart people to act dumb for the good of humanity. I'm glad you figured out this bad for... Oh, it's bad for everyone. The name game. Come on, everybody. I said, now let's play a game. I bet you I can make a rhyme out of anybody's name. The first letter of the name, I treat it like it wasn't there. And then a B or an F or an M will appear. And then I say Bo at a B, then I say the name, then banana, fanner, and foe. Then I say the name again with an F, very plain, then a F, Phi, and a Mo. And then I say the name again with an M this time, and there isn't any name that I can't rhyme. But if the first First two letters are ever the same. I drop them both and say the name. Like Bob, Bob drop the B's, Bob, oh Fred, Fred drop the F's, Bo Red, oh Mary, Mary drop the M's, Mo airy. That's the only rule that is contrary. Barantor, 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 Bo Arantor, Banana Fana, Fo Farantor, Feed Fi, Mo Marantor. Barantor. Woo! Thank you for that resub, Barantor. Woody woot. You know, Barantor, there's a reason why I'm really happy that you are a member of the Foxhole. One, it's because I adore you, and I love a good old school gamer hanging out with me as another old school gamer, but also because your name starts with a B, and so then I get to do that special extra lyrics, so that makes me happy. That's all. So they don't take county records home at night. Levi, that would be breaking and entering. That would be illegal. Although maybe we should just break and enter some places. My character doesn't want to get caught. But as long as we don't get caught, it might be totally fine to break and enter some places because things are getting desperate. It's getting desperate. Maybe a little bit of B&E may not be a bad thing is all I'm saying. Anarch says, in 1845, the expedition was sent, led by Sir John Franklin, and second in command was an Irish middleborn called Francis Crozier. The ships were called the HMS Erebos and HMS Terror. Those are not good names. These ships were bomber-class warships and were state-of-the-art. And the most advanced ships in England they had steam engines and sails, central heating, library, costumes, and some other entertainment so they wouldn't get bored. Ooh, sounds good. And right, and one of us is becoming less substantial. Like this is very troubling. Yeah, like it's not good. I will never forget the time I Hindenburged a Zeppelin to keep forbidden knowledge from spreading. I'm just saying, sometimes, right? Sometimes. Oh, I'm glad you love being adored because I do adore you. I just think it's only illegal if you get caught. Yeah. Crit says, I mean, just, I adore you too. I just wish I had more time to hang in Discord. I understand, Crit Twitch. But you know what? Here's the thing. Hang when you can. We will be here. Posting videos of wrestling. Whenever you have time, we will be here. And Jer's like, woo, old school. I think maybe I shouldn't say old school gamers. Maybe I should just say old gamers. Because maybe that's more accurate. That's all. That's just a burn on myself. That's all. It's only jail time if you get caught and don't get a trigger-happy arrestor. Yep. Oh, my goodness. Also, they had a new way to feed the crew, canned food. Oh, this sounds amazing, NRW. I love that you tried to walk through a closed door in public. Yeah. Krellin's like, I'm an old gamer. Rissa points out a truth. Cyclonistar Hapless adventurers are more likely to turn to arson. My character is not an arsonist. My character just got out of an internment camp, would rather not go to prison, but does have some skills that are a little bit less than legal. So, we're going to be doing some breaking and entering next month is all I'm going to say. Anyway, I do love that. How do I ring this bell, do you think? Oh, here we go. So yeah, I love that Call of Cthulhu gives you that tension. And it's a very interesting tension that's very different than like D&D combat. The tension of like, do you keep looking or do you move now? Like, how much time do you have to prep? Like, I think it's a really interesting. Hello? What? Me too, Krellin. Sadly, I will hit 50 while still in my position. Hey! Do you want to know something wild, people who are my age? Krellin, Rissa, Barantor, etc., etc. Do you want to know something wild? There was a story on the news about Earth Day, and they said this thing. They said, It's the 50th anniversary of Earth Day this year, and I thought 50 years old, that's way old. And then I realized that I am almost 50 and I do not feel way old, and it was weird because 50 years ago always seems like a long time ago, right? Like in 1950, 50 years ago was 1900. Like, you didn't even have air flight then. Do you know what I mean? Like, 50 years ago was ages ago. And I was just thinking that, and I was like, oh, dang, I turned 48 this year. Oh, that's all. The 90s were 5 years. Baron is correct. The 90s were 5 years ago. I don't even know what's going on. When they got to Greenland, 5 men were sent back for medical reasons and resupplied there. After that, Europe didn't hear about them ever again. The whole expedition disappeared. Anarchdubby. That, like, they never found the boats or anything? Ooh. Earth Day being 50 is pretty old when it's only been around, like, 50 days. Mm-hmm. Yeah. You've been around way more than 50 days. Berto, you turned 41? You're so young. I like saying that because if you're so young, that means I'm not super old. I'm just a little bit older than so young. I just feel like I do that. I need to switch the personal laptop before things get weird. Personal laptops, yeah, that's fine. Let's find out. What? I don't know what this means. What? Oh. I wonder how long this game is. I'm pretty much the oldest person a person can possibly be, and you're older than me, Chuber. Are you saying, understand me now? Ooh. Are you saying that I'm practically dead? I wonder if we're gonna get any dowagers. That's all. Someone was talking about trying to open up a 30-year-old spreadsheet on their computer, and I felt old. Here's the thing, 30 years old is not that old at all. That's just like, I mean, I've got computer files from the 90s. That's all. That's it. That's it. Yes? Fantastic. So, why am I awake? The world is ending? Oh. Yeah, and so, I adventured into the spirit world and solved a bunch of puzzles and fought with a cat butterfly so I could come meet you. I want you to teach me the Earth Song. Okay. Sorry about that. Yeah, that's what made me feel, yeah, I get it. Or like, so here's the thing. Are you ready for this? You know Grease, the movie Grease, which came out in 1978? 88, 98, 08, 18. It's like 42 years old. Grease is 42 years old, people. And Burns was like, I wasn't born when that came out, old people. That's just, you know, that's all I'm saying. Side note, I get a little like this when, they're like, this ancient file is like, I have files that old on my PC. Knock it off. Krell's like, I'm older than Grease. Stop it. Einarchtobi says, we know approximately what happened, but we can thank the Inuit for what we know. First evidence, we found 3 bodies in Beachy Island. The bodies were amazingly preserved thanks to the freezing cold there. Einarchtobi, hey, where did you see this documentary and where can I see this documentary? I want to see this documentary. Sorry about that. Being awake is not my thing. That's okay. Are you really gonna teach me the Earth Song? No. The Earth Song channels the voice of all life on this planet. And if all that life isn't in perfect harmony, the song won't work. So, I'm kinda not seeing the point. Huh? So you won't help? Meh. But what about all the people on Earth? Be right. I'm as old as the Princess Bride movie in theaters. Oh, I have to figure out how old I am. I feel like I'm old. B-Right says, you aren't old until you want to give your age in hexadecimal. I'll be 40 in 2 years, but sadly, that means I'm 3E now. But 3E, you know, 3E was a very popular edition of Dungeons and Dragons. And also, 3E is my favorite GURPS. So, you know, I'm just saying. I'm doing a Google search. And RW says, it is a show based on the book, based on the expedition, mostly fictional, but there are good documentaries for free on YouTube. I should look that up. So, are you ready? Do you want to know how old I am? I am 19, here we go. I'm looking for the highest grossing films from the year I was born. Hey, highest grossing film from the year I was born, The Godfather. That's pretty good, right? Oh, number 2. So, you know what's really, sorry, can I just tell you, do you know what's really interesting to me? Is that we often look at the number 1 thing, like what is the number 1 song for this year, and we tell you what it is. But we never talk about what the number 2 song is. And can I just give you the top 10 films from the year that I was born, which was 1972, which I think is super interesting. So, number 1, The Godfather, right? The Godfather, oh, The Godfather. Number 2, The Poseidon Adventure. If you don't know it, it's the Titanic, but like there's shenanigans. It's a disaster movie. Number 3, What's Up, Doc, which I think was Ryan O'Neal. Number 4, this will tell you something about 1972, which is very different. Rissa, I'm saying what the top grossing films were from 1972, the year I was born. Number 1, The Godfather. Number 2, The Poseidon Adventure. Number 3, What's Up, Doc. Number 4 is going to tell you something about 1972 and how 1972 is very different from 2020. The number 4 film, number 1 grossing film in the US box office for 1972 was Behind the Green Door, which is a pornographic film. It's by the Mitchell brothers. And what's her name? There's a blonde woman who was really famous. I think she was in, she's like this famous porn actress from the 70s who was like one of the people that really broke through porn. Her name was, didn't she die mysteriously on a piano? I think my mom told me about that. Her name was, wait, she's super famous. Marilyn Chambers. Marilyn Chambers was her name. I think she died on a piano. Didn't she? Wasn't she? No, maybe she didn't die. Who died on a piano? Somebody died on a piano in some kind of dramatic way. Kramer versus Kramer? Rocky's number 2. Oh, Rocky 2 number 3. That's interesting. Bridge of the River Kwai. That's a good one. 1982's Rocky. E.T. Rocky 3 on Golden Pond. Officer and Gentleman. Oh, those were, yeah, I remember those years. And then I've got Deliverance, Cabaret, The Getaway, Fritz the Cat, Legend of Boggy Creek, which I have no idea what that one is, and Jeremiah Johnson, which I also don't know. Number 5 is Porky's. That movie is super creepy, Levi. But it was surreal hippie artistic porn, so yeah, right? Like if it's surreal hippie artistic porn, then I think it's fine. Apocalypse Now was number 4 in 79. You were just 1 year younger than my sister, Barantor. Here's the thing. I need to find out who died with the piano. Look, somebody died, and it was really dramatic, and there was maybe murder involved, right? So, wait, there's a whole thing. Oh, come on. Wait, okay. It was like, my mother told me this story as I was a kid, and I need to tell this to you, but I need to sort of check this because I feel like I'm gonna get this wrong. No. Okay, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm going to just do a search and hope I come up with something. Let's see. O'Farrell Theater. I don't know if I'm gonna get this right. Theater, piano, death. Murder most foul. Condor Club. Okay, yeah. It's one of San Francisco's, right, okay, this is one of San Francisco's sex scandals. I have found it. Okay, so I'm going to tell you, I just found a place, San Francisco's top sex scandals. And I'm looking for, okay. It was Carol Doda, that's who it was. Our Love Story, that was very popular. Airport, yep, MASH, Patton, and the Aristocats. Ooh, nice. I'm making my FBI agent. Well, my FBI agent just need to know about sex scandals in San Francisco. NRW says the top 10 years from the year of your birth: Jurassic Park, The Fugitive, The Firm, Sleepless in Seattle, Mrs. Doubtfire, Indecent Proposal, In the Line of Fire, Aladdin, Cliffhanger, Free Willy. See, I always think it's really interesting that we just don't talk about number 5, and I think those things are interesting too. So look, Carol Doda was a stripper. She was right, and she was kind of like a famous stripper in San Francisco. And I think my mom knew about this because my mom had been a stripper. So she might have even known Carol Doda, but she told me this story as a small child. So Carol Doda was a stripper, and she danced at the Condor Club in North Beach. And Carol Doda, oh no, she didn't die. It wasn't Carol Doda who died. So this is what happened. There was this piano in the Condor Club, and this guy, I'm gonna say something a little bit graphic, but I'm not, it's fine. So this guy who was the assistant manager for the Condor Club, a guy named Jimmy the Beard Ferrazzo. So Jimmy the Beard Ferrazzo was having sex with his girlfriend, Teresa Hill, on top of this piano. So what happened then was that while they were having sex on this piano, he accidentally kicked this switch on the piano with his shoe in the throes of passion, and the piano was on a hydraulic lift, and the piano then raised up to the ceiling and crushed him. She didn't die though, because she was on the bottom, but he died. He was crushed when the piano went to the ceiling because he accidentally kicked the up switch, and then the firefighters found them 4 hours later. She was alive, but really traumatized. So, right? Isn't that crazy? So that was like, yeah, that was like, that's one of the wild sex scandals of San Francisco, in case you wanted to know it. And again, I don't know what it says that my mom told me this story when I was a small child, but I remember being, ooh, pardon me there. I remember being quite young when I learned the story of the piano killing some people during sex. But my mom was a bohemian, it's fine. You know what? I wasn't scared of pianos, because here's the thing. As a kid, like, you're a kid, right? You hear this story, and as a kid, I did not really understand sex as a small person. But I just remember thinking, how could you not notice that the piano was being raised? Like, it never made sense to me that they would die, because I was like, wouldn't you notice if the piano starts lifting? Like, I can't imagine it was like an elevator that fast. Imagine it, like, wouldn't you notice? Anyway, yeah, and then Bernd was like, yeah, they must have been having a very good time, is what I'm thinking. How long did you look for pianos and hydraulics? But also, like, because as a kid, I'm like, what do you mean the piano was on hydraulics? Was it like an elevator piano? Because like I was a kid, I'd never seen a piano on hydraulics, so I couldn't imagine what it looked like, and I just imagined it being really slow and loud, like a forklift, and I just imagine you would notice and be like, oh look, the piano's moving, then you just like get off the piano. Yeah, because here's the thing, the from the bottom to the top, it was 15 feet, so the lift went 15 feet up to the ceiling, so it wasn't like a short ride up. It wasn't like it was only an 8-foot ceiling or something. It was 15 feet up, so that's like quite a bit of a distance. So anyway, By the way, we're talking about sex death on my channel. Hey, TOS. That's all. It never made sense to me as a kid. It still kind of doesn't make sense to me now, but I suppose you must. But now I'm like, they were probably on drugs, and they were probably having a very good time, and perhaps not paying attention. I don't know. Yeah, what about the rest of the universe? It's all going away. That's the natural order of things. You're asking me to bend the rules just to save this tiny piece. A bit selfish, don't you think? I'm not really feeling up to it anyway. Okay, back to sleep now? No, wait! There's ghosts haunting Langtree. Oh, that sounds tough. Well, good luck with that. Wait! Sex death. Yeah. Sex death. Liebestod. I can't believe that guy. Sorry, little bard. Should I really just give up? No. Well, I mean, you could. But I believe in you, little bard. I kind of didn't before. But now, seeing your determination, I do. I think you can actually sing the Earth Song. But how? If the Overseer won't help me, there's 6 more. Each one's got a piece. So maybe, screw this guy, and let's find the others. Where? Shrug. One thing at a time, you know. First, you gotta deal with those ghosties back home. Okay, I'm out. Exit tree to your left. Peace. B-Right says, it also sounds like the hydraulics were badly designed. I would expect it to have had a limiter. Right. Although maybe it didn't because it had to go all the way up to the ceiling. Do you know what I mean? You could give up, that would be totally unsexy. They probably didn't have safeties. Right? The assistant manager for this club was Jimmy the Beard. I imagine they weren't. But the piano, here's why Carol Doda is important, because Carol Doda would come down on top of the piano. Like, the piano would be in the ceiling, she'd be on the piano, and the piano would come down and she'd be on top of the piano. So it was like her famous entrance space. So, yeah. Like, I think I know about a lot of 1970s stripping stuff or late 60s stripping stuff in San Francisco because my mother had been a stripper, so she would tell me stories, but there you go. B-Right says, Falcon of Venom, yeah, that's what I would call unsafe sex. Ba-dum-bum. Falcon, that's a good one. B-Right, that is a very good one. That's a good one. Ooh. Yeah, ooh, hello, where am I going? Ooh. Well. I know where I'm at. I can post the Beachy Island Bodies Discord. Put it in a spoiler tag. Is it like the Bogmen? You know those peat Bogmen? The peat, you know what I mean, the peat bog folks? You know what I'm talking about. Yeah, post them. Put them in spoiler tags. But post them. Are they like the peat Bogmen? I'm interested. I am interested. I feel like the ghosts are gone, right? I think I got rid of all the ghosts. I feel like I did. Oh, people. Oh, nope, they're ghosts. By the way, I'm going to give a giveaway pretty soon. So just make sure you've said something in chat, and then you'll be eligible for my giveaway. Origami Shuriken, or if you're still here, you're awesome. That's all. These things just don't quit. You can do it, Miss Mayor. Thanks, Clyde. Hello. Ah, geez, it's that kid again. Hey, wait. What? I can understand you now. What? That's swell. I guess it's the same language the Dream King spoke in. So then, kid, we could use a mighty fine favor from you. We need you to translate our ghost talk into music. Oh, I can do that. Hot dog. What in the Sam Hill is going on? Okay, listen close. Here we go. Good people of Langtree. Oh, why can't you see? Though we appear ghostly, we're not enemies. We're Ron, John, and Mary, your folks who've just passed. Oh, but this world is ending, and so we've amassed. You won't get your fair chance to live your lives through. Oh. And that's why we come back to spend time with you. I know, it's like, I didn't realize it was a song until like halfway through. I was like, oh, it's a song. Well, I'll be. Pa, is that you? Indeed it is. He said yes. Well, don't I feel like a right fool? Of course, the spirits were of our own kin. Why would they care to hurt us? Guess that solves our ghost problem. Okay, yeah, like 80% of the way through, it's true. It's like, oh no, wait. In light of these events, kiddo, I'm making you the new mayor of Langtree. What? It's like trying to sing a hymn you don't know while trying to improvise the notes, and also not realizing I was supposed to sing it. You heard right. Today I couldn't do my job, and you could. My folks deserve a capable person to keep them safe. Simple as that. Pardon me, Ms. Mayor, but what are you talking about? You're an excellent leader. Remember the time Bronson's boy was lost in the woods? Aye. Or the time Clyde got stuck in a tree. Hey! We're all proud to have you as mayor. The Bartlett is nice, but also kind of a dope. Most of our problems can't actually be solved by singing. That's true. After further consideration, I may have been a bit hasty about that mayor thing. That's okay. I think I'm going on an adventure anyway. Well, we'll be right here, kiddo. Thanks for everything. Nice. It's, right, it escalated. Hey! Oh. Somebody's calling me. Oh. Uh-oh. I saw that. You were talking in the spirit language. Did you meet with the overseer? Yep. I knew it! Okay, listen up. You're coming with me. Hop on my broom. Whenever you're ready to go. Oh. Huh? I don't have time to talk. You want to chat? Do that with someone else. When you're ready to go, just jump on. Oh. We're gonna do a giveaway before we deal with sort of slightly aggro Miriam. Oh, post a picture. Oh, good. I don't know how she knew I was talking. I don't know what's up with her. She's clearly a magic user. She's got a broom. So here's the question. Do you feel like she's just if it's D&D 1E, then she's a magic user because there aren't actually sorcerers on a class yet? So she's a magic user and he's a multi-class bard, clearly. Although it was really hard to multi-class into bard in first edition because you had to do bard, you had to do what, fighter, magic user, thief? You had to get levels in all three before you could be a bard. I don't have my first edition player's handbook in hard copy with me at this moment. I just have my 3.5 player's handbook, my 4 and my 5 stuff, and I have a couple of 1E stuff that is like Here you go. Ready? Wait. So you can see it better. Because we're going to do a giveaway. Look, here. Secret of Bone Hill. Nice. The Lost City before. And, of course, which you get in the blue. The Isle of Dread, which you get in the blue box, right? All very... Right. Old school! Or just old. Yeah, right? Actually, the Lost City is one of my favorite modules. Actually, in case anybody cares, it's one of my faves. Isle of Dread, right? And Isle of Dread was the one that introduced the hex crawl. And I remember it was like, ooh, hex paper. I was so excited. Here, do you want to see it? Do you want to see? Here you go, are you ready? Change the universe! Hex map! Oh my gosh! Yeah! Yep, I remember, you got, because I started off the red box and then I got the blue box next, and all of a sudden there were hexes, and that was outrageous. Yeah. So we're gonna do the giveaway. We're gonna find out who the winner is of Blasphemy, which is like our indie action adventure kind of Metroidvania situation here. And it's blasphemous. Pardon me, not blasphemy. Pardon me. So let's see. Who's our winner? Nightbot. Hey, do y'all want to guess if it's gonna be Krellin today? Franklin Expedition really has captured my imagination. I would love to do a campaign inspired. Oh, you should. And maybe in Call of Cthulhu. Although you could do a straight up historical. Nightbot? Be right! Hey! Be right! Might I give you the code for Blasphemous? I would like to do so very much. May I do so? Please say yes. Let me do it. Can I do it? Be right. I'm going to whisper be right. Yes, thank you, be right. I'm whispering you the key right now. Look, I really I love you all. Like, you all make me very happy. I'm glad that we're here together. I'm going to jump up there. I'm gonna miss you a little bit when I'm gonna be doing those 4 sessions of the Good Society on Table Story, and I can't do my regular Thursday streams. But I'll still have Saturdays. Ooh, finish Act 1 probably. Act 2. I wonder how many acts there are. Is it like Shakespeare we get 5? Or is it like a modern thing, The Performance at the Crazy Raven, where we only get 2 acts? What's going on? I don't know. Nonetheless, this is it. Hey, people my age. Levi, I appreciate you very much. People my age, did you ever watch Really Rosie? The Maurice Sendak film with music by Carole King, which was awesome. Did you see it? Did you ever see it? What's this place? What do you think? It's me, my grandma's house. Come inside. Oh, Barantor, you've got kids, right? How young are your kids? Barantor? Oh my gosh. Look. How old are your kids? They're teenagers? They might be a little bit too old then, because if they're teenagers, they might be a little bit too old. It's a little bit better for little kids, or littler kids. 13 might do it though. 13 might be fine. So, yeah, here you go. This is it. This is the whole... It's only a half hour. I'm pretty sure. And it was directed by Maurice Sendak. So if anybody wants some nice I mean, this is some prime 1970s kid stuff, with music by Carole King, directed by Maurice Sendak. I loved it as a kid, so I'm sharing some kid stuff with you all. Why? Because that's how our conversation's going. Come inside. Ooh, ooh. Magic user, right? Well, hello. Do you all remember how you got to be a bard in first edition? I think you had to multi-class fighter, magic user, thief, right? First, before you could actually become a bard. Right? Yes? Yes? Oh, fighter, thief, druid. Thank you, trooper. Thank you, Krellin. You are not trooper. I am trooper. Fighter, thief, druid. Oh, Falcon, I will totally put it on Discord for you. Has anyone played What Remains? Oh, yes. We played it on stream. I'm not trooper. Citation needed. You know, we could be the same people. It is, hey everybody, how are you doing? By the way, you can't tell probably, but I did clear up my desktop a little bit. There are fewer things on my desktop than there was the last time you accidentally saw my my desktop. I just want you to know that, like, I have under 200 things on my desktop right now, and I'm very proud of myself, so I hope you are all proud of me too. Hey, Frithiel, how are you? It is good to see you. We've got a bunch of really exciting things put in media musings, which I'm very, very excited about. But here also, I'm gonna put this in Discord right now. By the way, we have a Discord. Really, oops. Cables, come on now, Cables, stop that. Really Rosie. I'm putting it here for you. It's good. Did you, one of my favorite Really Rosies, Maurice Sendak pieces was, I mean, of course, Where the Wild Things Are, of course, brilliant, but also In the Night Kitchen I really loved. And yeah, there was some good stuff in there, but I don't know what people read nowadays. You know what I mean? Like, we had, is there a Saturday stream this week? There is not, because rather than streaming, I mean, oh yeah, no, this is, oh, thank you for lurking. So I will not be streaming on my channel. The name game. Come on, everybody. I said, now let's play a game. I bet you I can make a rhyme out of anybody's name. The first letter of the name, I treat it like it wasn't there. And then a B or an F or an M will appear. And then I say Bo at a B, then I say the name, then banana, fanner, and foe. And then I say the name again with an F very plain, then a Phi, Phi, and a Mo. And then I say the name again with an M this time, and there isn't any name that I can't rhyme. Devil crayon, devil crayon, devil crayon, devil crayon, banana, fanna, fo, fevel crayon, fee, fi, mo, mevel crayon, devil crayon. Thank you for the resub, Devil Crayon. It's been a year. Devil Crayon's like, oh no, it's song time. And it's true. It was song time. That is true. So, Rissa, this Saturday, I will not be streaming on this channel, but at 1 p.m. over on Roll For It, ROLL, the number 4, IT, Roll For It, I will be GMing, I will be GMing A Good Society over, it's a 2-shot over on the Roll For It channel. And the Roll For It channel is like a channel that's got some really great RPers, Little Red Dots on there, Lauren Random Tuesdays on there. It's just like I got a really great crew of people. And I will be GMing over there just for 2 sessions because they're regular. They do a Vampire the Masquerade game there on Saturdays, and their regular GMs can be gone for 2 weeks. And so I will be just stopping in to do a quick little 2-shot for them. So I will be over on their channel on Saturday, which, yeah, it's on Roll For It. Isn't that wild? Yeah. Jer says, so I'm realizing that I'm at a really odd age for being a TTRPG player. I wonder if the RPG collapse of the mid to late 90s made it less accessible. Well, that's an interesting question, Jer. I think, yeah. Because if you think about it, it had this huge boom in the 80s with the Satanic Panic, and like it was like, you know, it was a thing that people knew about and it was a whole thing. And then Vampire got like a whole new audience coming in the 90s, but then it sort of died off after that. I mean, people are still doing it, right? People were still playing, of course, but it didn't have the same kind of push as it did. Then I suppose it had a bit of a, yeah. I mean, we're in an interesting age myself, I think. I think we're in an interesting age because streaming has really opened up gaming in ways. It got homogenized with the OGL for 3E. Yes. Yeah. Mid to late 90s is when I got into TRPGs, and it was rough finding a group, but I was also in a really rural area. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I was playing in the 90s, but in the 90s, I was in the army, so we were people from not the 90s, if you know what I mean. Do you know what I mean? Like, in the 90s, just like in the army, you kind of, the army's a little weirdly timeless in a way, because you don't, like in the army, you don't necessarily keep up with the times because you're in this kind of interesting space. So I don't think me playing in the 90s in the army really was indicative of what it was like for people outside of the army. I had to go to Walden Books to get D&D books, yeah. Oh, you know, this is interesting because I'm thinking late 90s is when Magic comes out, and I know that becomes a big push, so there's like a big push towards Magic, which sort of, and like kind of a decline in RPG books in general, from the late 90s into the early aughts, so that becomes a moment. And I suppose we don't get a new scene until late aughts, maybe? Yeah, in the late 90s, I had a USMC group too. Yeah, like, I feel like, I know, Walden Books. Yeah, so I actually think that the army has a tail. Do you know what I mean? Like, things, yeah. There's a weird timeless quality about being in the military because sometimes you're just not hip on the new things in certain ways, I will say. And I don't mean that in a bad way, right? It's just that, you know, sometimes you're overseas or you are you're like in the field. Like there's just kind of ways in which things. Yeah, Barontor says you're out of time in a way in the military, and it's really true. Like I remember when the O.J. Simpson thing happened. I was in the army at the time, and I remember seeing an article about how like they were having a hard time finding jurors who didn't already know what was going on. And me and my friends were like, they should just get us because we have no idea what's going on. Because we have like, if you're overseas, you only have one military TV channel, the AFN, which is Armed Forces Network. And that's one channel that somehow is supposed to encompass all of the things on television. And so we would get a very limited selection of TV and a very limited selection of news, just because like we had like AFN and like the Stars and Stripes, like you know what I mean? And so we often didn't know. Like I always like to say that I was out of the, like people were like, hey, 90 blah, blah, blah. And they say like they talk about the 90s. And I was like, yeah, I was out of the country for the 90s. So I really kind of have no idea what was going on in the United States in the 90s. And I, like from 90 to 1997, I was in the army and overseas. And my access to US cultural products was a little limited. So I was just a little out of time in certain ways. Yeah. That seems intentional. I don't think it's intentional so much as resources, right? The army, like how much money is the army going to put into making, like the army's not going to make multiple, although now people have the internet, so it's different. But like when I was there, we didn't really have the internet that, like there was an internet, but it wasn't the internet. And like they can't put on like 14 different TV channels. Do you know what I mean? And like if I were in the States, it would be different because I would just have access to everything. But when you're overseas, it's not like they can give you all of the, like there's like 4 networks plus cable, and they can't give you all the TV shows. And so I just didn't get get all the stuff, you know? And if he's like, yeah, at least the internet closes the gap. No, it's totally, yeah, the internet makes everything totally different. Yeah, so I just get these media gaps. I had these media gaps. Most of the people I played with were my sister's friends, several years older than me. Most people I play with now are like 6-7 years. Yeah, I think there is an interesting gap right there. Kind of like, we'll call it maybe the Magic the Gathering era, where people were doing that instead. Yeah, not enough access to... And the thing is also, this is another thing, that most of the stuff we got access to was the most popular stuff. So, like, the top TV shows, or whatever they could get access to, right? So, like, the top TV shows we would get, mostly, and they did their own news. Like, they had their own newscasters, broadcasters. Like, that was a job you could do in the Army. You could be like a news broadcaster. Not many people could do that job, but that was a job you could do. And because we had our own news, because they would have to give us news about what was going on in Germany if you were living in Germany, or in Korea if you were living in Korea, and US-based news was not going to do that for you. And also what was happening with your unit. Like, we actually got military news for like relevant to our particular life. But that just kind of meant that we just didn't have... We just didn't have as wide of a diversity. And underground stuff we didn't get very well. Like, it was like you had to have friends back home who would send you underground stuff if you wanted underground stuff. Baron Tor says, I was in country the whole time I was in, so it was probably a bit easier, yeah. The age gap also coincides with the exennial era. Or what we used to call Gen Y. It's fine. But you were still so busy, you missed a lot. Oh, yeah, being really busy also does it. Like, I mean, you're just so busy, yeah. Makes sense, top 40 radio, top primetime shows, but not like the hip... Yeah, that's exactly right. That's exactly right. And so, I mean, like, you'd get the top 40 stuff, so, like, I knew a lot of top 40, but there was a bunch of stuff that I just didn't know because we weren't, you know what I mean? Like, just weren't going to get it. And so you would get your underground stuff from people, like friends from home who would send you things. But so it's just interesting. I just think it's interesting. Well, hello. So you talked to an overseer, That's so delightful. We've been trying to commune with them since we divined this world's fate. More like I've been trying to. You just sit at home and tell me what to do. I'm an old lady, Miriam. Old schmold. But I can see from your eyes, he didn't help you, did he? Nope. But the others might if I meet them. Oh. I thought you'd be more useful than that. Well, I like this one. So full of hope. Unlike my granddaughter. I think you two ought to travel together. Ugh. Excuse me? This clown? We don't even know your name. Well, why don't you tell us your name then? Oh. Ooh. Let's start with an L. L. I don't know a lot of names that go L-A. Let's go L-A. L-A-L. So maybe the decline of RPG players is due to the incline of video gaming? Lala. Thank you, Iffy. Thank you, Iffy. I wanted Lalo, but there was no O. Maybe, but I'm also... See, the thing is, Jer, I'm thinking it's not just video gaming, right? Because Magic was huge. I wonder if Magic was involved as well. Like, I mean, Magic was this huge juggernaut at the time. Yeah, so like I'm just wondering, I just wonder how much Magic the Gathering was involved in taking people who might be playing TTRPGs together and sort of giving them a different thing to do. So, your name is Lala. Yup. What a wonderful name. It's a pleasure to meet you. Is that good enough for you, Miriam? Whatever. Welcome to the team, Lala. Uh-huh. Sappy. Don't mind my granddaughter. She's a fuddy-duddy, but her heart is good. She's been grumpy ever since she was a little girl. But she's my grumpy little girl. Only wish she could learn to loosen up a little. Our family is so very funny. Half of us come out jolly, half the complete opposite. Many I can't even speak to, like my sister. But Miriam, I will always be there for. Oh, the people I played TTRPGs with also played Magic. I never really felt like it was attracting for RPG game times. See, DC, that's really interesting. And I'm going to hit you up on that, and I'm not going to disagree with you, but I'm going to add, because I like to add things. Who doesn't like to add things? Fuddy-duddy, it's a good one. Magic the Gathering definitely couldn't be escaped, not even at SCA events. But that was the folks I knew in college at the time MTG was first launching. Trooper says, I always preferred INW and Mythos. I love Mythos. Trooper, yes, and is it a conversation role? That's fair. So our group, we played Vampire the Eternal Struggle, Jihad. That was our card game. And what would happen is, what we would do is, if we all met to play RPGs, but like the GM was sick or something like that, we'd bust out our vampire cards and we'd just play. Usually like 7 or 8 people just down to 1. So we would do that sometimes, but usually as an augment to our RPGs rather than instead of. But that was when Magic and Vampire, like those games didn't have competitive scenes, but then they got competitive scenes, and I think people who really wanted to be very competitive just kind of spent their whole time on doing Magic because they wanted to like get on the circuit and like compete. Like they were like, you know, there was like a whole infrastructure that sort of built up, and that seemed a little bit different. Falcon, you played Jihad? I did too. I really enjoyed it. Yeah, I feel like Magic the Gathering geared toward Gen X, not Gen Y. Yeah, card and board games are good when scheduling doesn't work out. That's what we would do. Magic and RPG stuff wasn't around me until college, and then only from a small group of people. That makes sense. But this was a couple years ago. Yeah, it just feels like in the height of Magic, I know that, I mean, because what I do know is that a lot of game stores would have gone under had it not been for Magic. Sigh. Okay, let's get going down this hill. Can I fly with you? No, you're heavy. And anyways, you're going through a cave up ahead. There's an Overseer access point in there for the Queen of Winds. Before you ask why we haven't checked this one out yet, it's because there's monsters in this cave. Monsters? Don't you freak out about it. I don't know about that. Let's go this way. There are monsters. Okay, we can't go this way. Magic, Warhammer Tabletop, and MMOs all got big in the late 90s, early aughts. Yeah, oh, I remember Xenophile. You know, it's interesting because here's the thing about... I kind of think Magic the Gathering was geared... I feel like it must have been geared more towards Gen Y than Gen X, right? Because it really came out in the late 90s. And by the late 90s, I was in my mid-20s. As opposed to being younger. So, like, I feel like I was kind of old. I mean, I still played it. You know what I mean? I still played it. Oop. Maybe not, though. What do you think? Like, I also played Magic, but not many others played in my generation. Really? That's so interesting. Huh. Magic was super popular in my high school. See, that's what I always felt like it was a slightly younger group that played Magic. It felt, but I don't know. We had a group of Magic players in my unit since it was so portable. That makes sense. This way. The creator was kind of old. I remember seeing my math teacher played it. Oh, that's interesting. Could take it out in the field. Everyone around me played Magic. Yeah, Magic... See... So here's the thing, Falcon, at least for me, and this is where being in the Army is weird. So I was in the Army when Magic came out. I was overseas, and my gaming group, we decided to play Jihad because that came out basically around the same time as Magic, and we're like, well, we're playing Vampire the Masquerade anyway, so let's play this card game. But the thing is that we had no idea what the scene was like because we were sitting in Germany playing. We didn't realize that Magic became so huge the way it did because we were overseas and we didn't see it. We just like ordered like, you know, some boxes of cards from the game store, had it shipped over to Germany, and then we played, and we had no idea. Like, if you think about the meta, like, we didn't know what the meta was because we were just like a group of 8 people in Germany, and we didn't know, like, we didn't know that Magic was going to be what it was. We just, you know, like, yeah. And I played Mythos too. Like, we played a bunch of stuff. It's weird not realizing that things are trends because you're overseas, or not realizing how they're trends. Do you know what I mean? I think for me, an example of this would be, yeah, your own small pocket outside the bubble. Right, like I had this pocket and I didn't realize there was this big, huge, larger discourse. And I think the best example of this was, do you know that song, What Is Love by Hathaway? You know, what is love? Baby, don't hurt me no more. What is love? Baby, don't hurt me no more. I don't know, what can I do? What can I say? It's up to you. What is right? What is wrong? Give me a sign. You know the song, right? You know the song. So the thing is, that song was super popular. It's Eurodisco, right? It's Eurodisco. So it was super popular in the clubs in Germany. And I was in my mid-20s, so I was going to clubs all the time. So I'd go to the nightclubs, I'd dance to What Is Love. It was great, you know, or like, no, 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 there's no limit. Right, like all that stuff. Like I was just listen. I still have my Mythos cards too, Rissa. I should bring them with me one time and we can play. So yeah, like I used to listen to all that stuff, all those pieces that were like so great, and they were so cool to dance to, and everybody danced to them, and it was really fun, and everybody enjoyed themselves. I got back to the United States at the end of 1997, almost 1998, and I was just like humming, and I wanted to like go to a club that would play that music, and whenever I mentioned it, people would laugh, and they would start doing this, or maybe they do this. I don't know what direction they do it in. And I had no idea why they were laughing or doing that head bopping thing. And they all seemed to think the song was kind of stupid and funny and a joke. Like they thought it was like a joke, this song. And I didn't know what was going on. And Iffy, here's the thing. There was an SNL sketch. There was this like long running SNL sketch where they were making fun of the song and making fun of those dudes. But SNL was not shown on the Armed Forces Network. So I never got Saturday Night Live when I was overseas. So I had no idea, right? Yeah, Falcon, it was SNL, but I had no idea because that was not one of the shows that we got on Armed Forces Network. So I had no idea that the entire United States thought of that song as a joke, whereas I thought of it as just like an awesome Eurodisco song, and like Eurodisco was not a joke for me. It was the music you listen to in nightclubs. And to come back to the States and have this entire sort of music culture that I'm going to say grew up in, because I joined the Army when I was 18, right? So all of my sort of adult life was basically overseas. I joined the Army when I was 18. I didn't come back until I was 25. So like your prime club going years, like, so that was my experience of nightclubs. It was basically Eurodisco and sort of techno. And when I get to the States, that is not what people were listening to. And it was really weird for me to sort of recognize that like I actually had a different, like just different cultural, weirdly different cultural connections than all of my peers did. And that was weird for me. Like, yeah, Levy's like, I just missed the whole joke, missed the whole thing, because I imagine it's like that for a lot of people who moved to the US later, but I just was like, I was just overseas for a while, and I was like, oh. Because, and here's the thing, I love Eurodisco. No irony. I don't think it's funny. Eurodisco is awesome to dance to. What is Love is a great song to dance to. No Limits. All that, like, there's just a lot of great Eurodisco that is fun. It's just like good high energy Eurodisco and techno, great to dance to. Awesome. And you can sing along and you're in the club and it's great. And it's just weird to sort of this thing which was like just what the culture was comes back to the States and it's a joke. It was weird. Cookster's like, oh heck yeah, I love this. Yeah, right? Like, it's great. It is awesome. B writes, like, you won't be surprised to hear I've never seen SNL other than some YouTube extracts. David S. Pumpkins. Yeah, that makes sense, but it's also something that doesn't exist in America. Right, but you don't know. And that's the thing I think is so fascinating. I had no idea that Eurodisco did not exist as a scene in the US. And when I came back to the States like in 97, and I wanted to go to a club that played Eurodisco, no clubs did. And I was like, wait, where can I go to hear drum and bass? UK Bhangra, like, because I was in Europe, so I was hearing like, you know, drum and bass, UK Bhangra, Eurodisco, techno, like all these dance genres that were popular in the UK and basically in Europe, and those were just not things in the United States, and I didn't know that. I was like, well, what did you play in your clubs? Like, what were you listening to? And I actually didn't even realize that a lot of those bands were not even from the US because they all sang in English. Yeah, well, I think it might be in some electronic circles, but like the electronic circles in the US were a little bit different, I think. A little bit, but it was just like, oh, huh, because like you don't know what you don't know, right? Like, I had no idea that the US was not doing that until I got to the US and people looked at me like I was insane. And like, for them, this was some kind of a joke. And I was like, oh, huh, okay. And for me, and I don't know, Berentor was stateside the entire time. Ooh, Hrothgar. The name game. Come on, everybody. I said, now let's play a game. I bet you I can make a rhyme out of anybody's name. The first letter of the name, I treat it like it wasn't there. And then a B or an F or an M will appear. And then I say bow at a B, then I say the name, then banana, fanner, and foe. And then I say the name again with an F very plain, then a fee, fi, and a mo. And then I say the name again with an M this time, and there isn't any name that I can't rhyme. Hrothgar, Bo Hrothgar, banana, fanner, fo, Hrothgar, fee, fi, mom, Hrothgar. Hrothgar. Thank you for the resub, Hrothgar. Full on 6 months. Woo! Many more months to come. Thank you. You should have had an innate sense of American sense of music, right? Like, how would you know, right? B. Wright says, another example, I could never understand why a product would be called Lazy Boy. Oh, yeah. Oh, that's a good one, right? And what was, I mean, so I don't know, for people, what's the problem with that, B. Wright? Boop. So here's the thing. I think this is so interesting that 2020 is different from 1995. I understand that because 2020 is 15 years later. Stop. It's 25 years later. Oh, no. We're going to just pretend like it's 15 years later. We're going to just pretend like 1995 was 15 years ago, but it was not. But we'll just kind of go with that right now. But one of the things I think is really interesting about all of this is that like, you think everything is global. Like, you think in globalism that everything is everywhere, but that's actually not true. Not everything is everywhere. There are still local, regional scenes, and you don't know it if you're not there. And so for me, one of the best things about having been in the military was having lived in both Korea, South Korea, and Germany, and also being stationed somewhere outside of my home state. I'm from California, but I was stationed in South Carolina, in Texas, and in Massachusetts. And those are all three really different parts of the country that I'd never been to before. I'd never experienced. And for me, all of a sudden, I got to learn so much about how places are different in ways that I did not expect. Like you wouldn't. There's just a lot of things like all of the American bands that are popular in Germany that are not popular in the United States. That was fascinating. Like there are bands that I have never heard of, and I don't think you have ever heard of, and they're like the popular American band, but I don't think they're American at all. Or maybe they're like a German band with one American person who happens to be there as their lead singer, and like they're popular, and you're like, oh, like yeah, mm-hmm. Nope, you were right. Hindsight of 1995 is 2020. We've all heard David Hasselhoff. Yes. Yeah, lots of things like that for me. Example is that I have a lot of fantasy RPG people grew up with Monty Python at home, and I just don't know that reference. But yeah, army-based culture probably has, and also yes, it does. Army-based culture has its own subset flavor, which is really interesting. Hey, do you know that song, the Lemon Tree song? I don't think you do. I don't think you know the song at all. The USMC had a lot of anime folks earlier than the US because of contact with Japan stations. Totally, right? Like I had, yes, right? So the USMC has access to anime earlier than like mainland the US did. And like I was stationed in Korea, so I got some things that people didn't get yet. And like if you ask me about K-pop, my K-pop is going to be a little bit different because of the fact that I lived in Korea in the 90s, right? So it's going to be a little, and in a rural part of Korea. It's like not like the hip part of Korea, but in a rural part of Korea. So like the music I was listening to was really different. So do you know this song? Yeah. Okay, this song was really popular in Germany. Do you know it? Do you know it?
With Grammarly,
no, not that.
Really good. No, perfect.
No, not that.
That make your writing sharp.
Wait.
More explicit.
Okay, now tell me if you know this song. This was huge in Germany.
I'm sitting here in the boring room. It's just another rainy Sunday afternoon. I'm wasting my time, I got nothing to do. I'm hanging around, I'm waiting for you, but nothing ever happens. And I wonder, I'm driving around in my car.
We have to get to the chorus.
I'm driving too fast, I'm driving too far. I'd like to change my point of view. I feel so lonely, I'm waiting for you, but nothing ever happens. And I wonder how, I wonder why. Yesterday you told me about the blue sky, and all that I can see is just a yellow lemon tree. I'm turning my head up and down. I'm turning around, and all that I can see is just another lemon tree.
Right, that's your verse and chorus. So this was Fool's Garden, and I think they are a European band. Let me check. I'm gonna check. But that song was like all over. Yeah, no, they're German. Yeah, that's what I thought. So they're a German band, right? So that song, they're a German band, but they sing in English, and people kind of thought they were an American band, but they were not. And that song was like a huge hit in Germany. And Jair's like, I was also an early adopter of Britpop though, so right. And I think, yeah. So this is the thing, right? This is a German band, and I just don't think it really hit over in the States as much, but like they were kind of advertised as an American band because Americans are hip and cool. So a bunch of like European bands would sing in English and sort of pass themselves off as American-ish. And if you weren't paying attention, you wouldn't know it. And like their name is Fool's Garden, and like they're singing in English sort of. And like you're like, oh, they're like, you know, whatever. But like no, like I just don't think they were Britpop. that's also really interesting because there are songs, and B-Right, I don't know, B-Right probably wouldn't know this, but there are songs that were popular in the UK that never actually made it across the ocean. So like there was like Britpop that we got in the United States and Britpop that we didn't. Like because when I was over there, I was a big fan of trip hop, acid jazz. So like Portishead, Tricky, Massive Attack, that sort of stuff. That whole kind of that particular scene, I loved it. I thought it was super cool, but I don't think it ever was as big in the U.S. as it was there. Moloko, like there's a bunch of stuff that was like, oh, this is cool. And I only got to hear it because I was living in Europe, where like you could play, it would be played on the radio. I just think it's fascinating the ways in which you just might not know things. And the thing is, the reason why I think it's fascinating is because we think we know all of the things. Like we think that what's on the radio here is on the radio everywhere, but that's just not true. It's just not true at all. Like there are all sorts of songs that hit #1 in the UK that are just not popular here in the US. Like the Cheeky song, you know, by the Cheeky Girls. You know, it's great. B-Right probably knows it. Portishead and that stuff had its own subculture in the 90s. Yeah, that's right. Growing up with parents from Mexico, there are a lot of songs super common to me from an era of music in Mexico where oldies from the US got remade in Spanish. Yes, right? Or like all those people who like love Selena, but Selena didn't actually have mainstream popularity in the US, but she did in certain parts of the country. You know what I mean? Like, so like, I just think I am really fascinated by or another example, food. Like there are food items you cannot get everywhere in the United States. Like Blenheim is a ginger ale that you can get in the South, but you can't get it in the North. I got it when I was living in Virginia, and it's delicious, and I love it. But I can't just get Blenheim. It is made in San Francisco, and you can't really get it outside of the West Coast. Right, like just like the fact that like, oh, with globalism you can get whatever you want, like Amazon, whatever you want. But actually, it's not true. There are a lot of things that are regional only. And you can't just Kinder eggs. You can't just get them wherever you want. And I just think that's really interesting. I'm fascinated by it. I'm not mad. Do you know what I mean? Because it is what it is. But I'm interested in it. I definitely remember Portishead for sure. Thanks, Columbia House. Yeah, they have Kinder eggs now, but not for a long while. That's true. Oh, Iron Brew. Oh, Cheerwine. Yeah, like there are all these things that you just can't actually. Or when I was I went and visited friends in Liverpool. By the way, we're gonna keep playing. Don't worry about it. But I visited friends in Liverpool, and I went to Tesco, which is a supermarket over there, and they took me to the internet. They had like an American section in Tesco, because they wanted me to see their American section, which I was all about because I love that sort of a thing. And I was looking at the American section of the Tesco and the grocery store there, and I was like, what? Some things I recognize. Some things I was like, why do you have this crappy cereal? This cereal is not good, and it's also stale. I don't know why you have that. Like, that's embarrassing. Like, we have better things than this. But then they also had things that they said were American, but I'd never seen in my life. Iffy, we totally are. They had like a whole bunch of pickle relishes. They had like 5 or 6 or 7 different types of pickle relish that all had very different colors. Like one was brown, and I was like, it was like Chicago pickle relish. And I was like, I have never seen that before. I've never, like, what is this? Why is this pickle relish red? It was really interesting to me to see these things that were being sold as American things, but I'd never seen them before. And I thought that was really fascinating as well. America juice. Not actual Kinder eggs from what I understand. It has some special egg where you get half the egg is the chocolate thing, half as the toy. Huh. Maybe it's a thing. Almighty. I'm a witch. I can handle monsters. Frankly, I don't know what we need you around for. But hey, Grandma Sappy knows best. She's too trusting for her own good. I know she orchestrated this just to mess with me. She lives for that. Hurry up already. Well, I don't want to die. Barbecue is also super varied by region. Lots of sultry. Oh yeah, but I know that. Do you know what I mean? Like, I know that barbecue is varied, but like I was not used to seeing. Like, I just don't believe that all of that pickle relish actually is American. That's all. I'm skeptical. Hurry up already. Yeah, I know. I'm just saying that I'm skeptical. That is all that I'm saying. Yeah. Getting close now. Also, David Hasselhoff wasn't actually that popular in the United States as a performer. Also a thing I'm going to say. Well, American style can of beans. Yes. I don't know if I mentioned it here, but I used to work for a US multinational, and they sent a bar of Hershey's with a training pack. When I shared it with my team, they accused me of trying to poison them for feeding them a laxative. Girls like wasn't at all popular in the US. So, hey, here's my question. How do we get out of here? What? This is the way we came in. What am I missing? I feel like I must be missing something. Though Knight Rider was cool as a kid. When I don't know what to do, I sing. By the way, can I just say that opening episode of Overlight and Nova that Little Red Dot did that we just did yesterday made me cry. Made me cry. And I was like, why am I crying right now? What's up with this? Barbecue is also so varied because it was whatever black slaves could use that made the food taste like home. That is fair. And black people came from different parts of Africa, not all from one place because it's a continent. It still is. But I was also 5 to 8 at the time. Yeah, I mean, yes. Knight Rider was popular, but not because of Hasselhoff. No, because of Kit. Come on. Kit was awesome. Airwolf, on the other hand, has not aged well. Oh, okay. Look, if we want to talk about 80s action TV shows, then not only Airwolf and Knight Rider, but maybe also, do you remember Manimal? That one didn't last very long. What? Why are you lowering your voice? Just shut up. Do you remember Manimal? Yeah, Manimal. It was a real good show. But let's be real, those curls and tight jeans did not hurt at the time. This is true. Here they played the crap out of the Dukes of, oh my god, Dukes of Hazzard all the time. I was like, oh. I don't know if it aged well, but my brother did leave me the whole series, so I could find out. Yeah, Manimal, iffy. Manimal was a show that I think lasted one season, if that. It might have lasted only half a season. And it was about a man who was a private detective or maybe a cop. I don't know, some kind of investigator. Oh, well. And he could turn into animals. So like he would turn into a panther and he would like turn into an eagle. He was Manimal. A-Team. Yeah, you know, Cookster, I didn't like the Dukes of Hazzards then. I think it's because Boss Hogg dressed all in white and it reminded me a little bit too much of the Klan and I just felt uncomfortable. So I never watched the Dukes of Hazzard. It always, and also the General Lee had the Confederate flag on the car and it really made me uncomfortable as a kid. I was like, this show makes me uncomfortable. I'm not going to watch this show. Sidekicks, I remember Sidekicks. There's a weird show I liked too called The Highwaymen. I remember The Highwaymen, who had something that had a helicopter built inside it. Yeah. A druid can't carry a primetime show. I let the card jumps, but had no idea what was watching. I was too young to pick up the racism. Yeah, that just made me feel really uncomfortable. But I also watched like Taxi, Chico and the Man, Sanford and Son, those sort of comedies. But there was like I watched as many of the sci-fi shows I could find. Do you remember Starman? Starman was a show. The one with John Eric Hexum and Mino Pelusi, where they were like time travelers. But he died. He died in some kind of on-set accident, and so that show was canceled. Misfits of Science. Quantum Leap. Do you remember that there's one called the Phoenix, I think it was. It was about a man who was a space alien who shows up in an ancient Egyptian pyramid and then has, I don't know, he does stuff. And then there was Sliders, thank you. Chips. Otherworld was a mid-season replacement, and that was about a family of archaeologists. Like the dad was an archaeologist, and they were for some reason he brought his family to the ancient Egyptian pyramids, and they got sucked into an alternate dimension. Dallas. Do you remember? Well, Dallas had weird time stuff, so you know. Do you remember? Nobody remembers this but me. It was a mid-season replacement. It was Hammer. Oh, my tablet's name is Ziggy after the Quantum Leap computer. Oh, that's awesome. I think it was called Hammer, something Hammer, like John Hammer, or Max Hammer, or Mike Hammer. That's what it was. Voyagers. Thank you, Rissa. Voyagers. That was the one. That was Voyagers. Yes. Mike Hammer. Thank you, Cookster Casey. No, it wasn't Sledgehammer. It was Mike Hammer, the detective. Small Wonder. Oh, I remember Small Wonder. Yeah, it was Mike Hammer where it was a comedy. It was like a spoof. The monster could be anywhere. Probably sleeping. Do you want to wake it? Because I'd prefer not to. So how's about you keep it down? You and your loud bard mouth. We don't need any of that here. I'm gonna keep singing. Because I'm a loud bard. Mike Hammer. Blossom. I remember. Do you remember? There was another one besides. It came on right after Small Wonder. It was Small Wonder, and right after Small Wonder was this other one. And it was the theme song was. Would you like to swing on a star? Carry moonbeams home in a jar. You'd be better off than you are. Or would you rather be a fish? It was like a little blonde girl who was actually a half alien. Like I think her dad was an alien, and she lived with, I don't know, with a family, whatever. Yeah, you're right. You remember it. Like you don't remember the name, but she was like this little kind of blonde kid who was older than this. Like she was like maybe early teens. Yeah. What was it called? It was called Out of This World. Thank you. Out of This World. That was the one. Out of This World. I'm glad, there you go. All right, so here's Krellin. High five. Okay, so here's another one. Do you remember this one? This was a show that was clearly like, it's clearly for teens, probably. But it was after school, so it was one of these shows that would be on like 3 or 4 or 5 around then. So it wasn't a late night show, it was before prime time. And it was called Rocky Road. And it was about a group of actors who were all clearly not teens. They were all clearly 18, 19, 20, but they were acting like they were in high school. And they worked at an ice cream shop on the boardwalk. I don't know where this boardwalk was, but it was like Rocky Road. Rocky Road, stupid theme song lyrics, Rocky Road, and like it was super not memorable to me. But Rothko's like, I blame Mayim Bialik for me being a sapiosexual. I take it. No, it wasn't Saved by the Bell. I think it was before Saved by the Bell, but it was very much like Saved by the Bell in terms of aesthetic, like low budget quality. You know what I mean? Like when I think about Saved by the Bell, I think about like Head of the Class and this Rocky Road show that was like lower budget. Yeah. I can't believe you woke this stupid monster. Great. Guess I have to take care of this mess. What are you gonna do? I'm a witch with awesome magic powers. I'll use those. Won't that hurt it? Probably. That's how this works. Monster attacks, we rough it up a little, it lets us through. Let me handle it. Why? This will be over in like 5 seconds. I want to get close and try talking to it. You know what? Sure. Knock yourself out. Looks pretty hard. Sure you don't want me to take care of it? No! I don't. I'll sing even harder this time. Singing. Okay, so this is a thing. I will get here. I'm gonna make it to the monster. I can make it. Let me talk to you. Let's be friends. You sing nice. Facts of Life. Yes. Boy Meets World. Facts of Life. Facts of Life was with that. There was like a cluster of shows. Facts of Life. Different Strokes. Maybe a couple others. There was definitely a thing that late 80s, early 90s about non-humans, robots, aliens, Alf. Oh yeah, that random show about being a real prince. Oh, Cookster, 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 Cookster. First off, I would like to thank you for making it that I'm not the only one who remembers that TV show, The Charmings, about Prince Charming and Snow White being transported to modern day America, along with their children, and also the evil queen, and the mirror, and also a dwarf. The Charmings. Was it filmed at Disney World? I didn't know that. No, at Family Matters. Oh, you're right. I'm gonna talk to the monster, and then we'll go. But that won't fix my boyfriend. Yeah, it was a weird show. Do you remember? Because I think it was on Fox. I think it was when Fox was very young and didn't have a lot of shows and was doing a lot of weird stuff. Family Matters. Yeah, they had women in prison. I think so. A friend of mine visited Disney World and attended a taping, so I presumed, unless it was very oh, I don't know. I just imagined that putting it at Disneyland would have been expensive. But so do you remember Fox, when Fox first started as a channel, they had women in prison. They had, of course, the Tracy Ullman show, which was amazing. Later, The Simpsons. But they also had a show called Werewolf, which was basically The Fugitive, where like the guy gets turned into a werewolf and he's now on the run for a murder he didn't commit, trying to find the werewolf who turned him into a werewolf so that he could go and like somehow reverse the curse, but he's being chased by a police officer who thinks he did the murder. Do you remember like Werewolf? Like, and yeah, I'm just saying. Cousin Larry was Perfect Strangers, so that's right. Which was a spin-off of Family Matters. Balky Bartokamus. Cousin Balky and Cousin Larry. Yeah. We're just going back here now. So, Family Matters is a spin-off of Perfect Strangers. And it's funny because I still remember, because I'm old enough that I remember 1970s shows like Taxi and Sanford and Son. There were some others from the 70s. Chico and the Man. The Courtship of Eddie's Father. Things like that. Bum bum ba-dum. I remember those, but also the 80s ones like Night Court. Oh yeah, Night Court. Cheers, of course. Cheers, Night Court. Night Court was great. I really liked Night Court. My dad always watched Barney Miller, so I watched a lot of Barney Miller. That was one that I watched a lot. Oh, sorry. Bum, ba-da-dum, ba-da-dum, ba-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Wah, 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 wanna, wah. Yeah. Thank you, Krellin. Bum, ba-bum. Yeah, that was a great theme song. Quincy Jones. Is it time for me to dish out some magic? No. What did you say about a boyfriend? One of you humans hurt him. Us? Well, not you, but definitely a human. They cursed my boyfriend with some magic spell. Things have gone too far. We can't let any more people like you through. Hey, it's not like we came here to attack you guys. I mean, I would have, but I'm really sorry what happened to your boyfriend. If it's a spell that's been cast on him, do you think singing might help? What? Magic spell? Witch? Hello? Does this not sound like more my forte? Are you saying you would help us? I guess. All right, humans. I'll let you in. Ooh. Beretta. Oh, yeah. Night Court had a great theme song. Yep. I used to have that theme as a ringtone. When I was writing my disc, I needed comfort shows, and I binged all the long-running 80s and some 90s shows on the Netflix available. I can credit Murder, She Wrote for an entire chapter, I think. Yes. I value that, and I honor that. Oh, gosh, Murder, She Wrote. But then you've got, you've got Dallas and Dynasty, of course. Oh, no. Up here, humans. Oh. Maybe we can, I really feel like she should, let me fly with her and be less mean about that. So, can you break this spell? Barney Miller and MASH in the Rockford Files. Oh, also, Columbo. Over on Netflix, though, too bad. Patrick Duffy had a Hasselhoff there. We had a lot of 80s comedies from the UK on our PBS station in the 90s, like Keeping Appearances we watched. Oh, yeah. I watched, from the British stuff, I got, of course, Doctor Who, Red Dwarf, Blake 7, Keeping Up Appearances, EastEnders, The Young Ones, Monty Python, there was the one about the country vet. There's like a British show about a country vet. What was it called? It was called like British People. That one with Judi Dench. Yeah. I remember that one. The one with Judi Dench. Yeah. The Old Tired Couple. That was a good one. All Creatures Great and Small. Thank you, Be Right. I remember that one being on our PBS all the time. Masterpiece Theater. As Time Goes By. That was the one. That was a good one too. Yeah, we got some good British ones. Do you remember Charlie's Angels was one of my 70s shows. I used to watch that one all the time. Charlie's Angels was one of my shows. Oh, also Fantasy Island, which was a little bit creepy. Love Boat. Yeah, I watched a lot of PBS because they aired BBC shows at times when the other three stations had aired awful shows. Yes, me too. I watched a lot of PBS because, I was that kid. Probably not. What? This is the work of someone really powerful. Kind of scary, actually. Not even Grandma Sappy could fix this. We're used to humans attacking us. You attacked us first, but never like this. Hey, maybe humans and monsters should stop attacking each other. Wow, great idea. But this one's already cursed. So what do we do? I don't know. Sigh. I was a fool to think humans could help. I'm sorry this happened, Mr. Monster. Just go. Get out of our home. No. Can I sing it? Can I sing it? The other side of the cave is very close. Now go and get out of our home. We only had 5 channels. We had like the 3 major cable channels sorry, we had the three major channels: ABC, CBS, and NBC. Then we had channel 2. That was 4, 5, and 7. We had channel 2, which would become Fox, which was just a local channel. So we had those main 4, and then we had channel 9, which was our PBS. And then we had some UHF stations, 20 and 44, which is kind of local stuff and reruns, whatever. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we had a total of 7 channels if you include PBS and VHS. I used to love to rewatch an old VHS called Dinosaurs with Gary Oldman and stop motion. I remember that one. Oh wait, we also had the Faulty Towers. We had Faulty Towers as well. Oh my gosh, yeah, the original Battlestar Galactica, the Hardy Brothers, the Hardy Boys. Hardy Boys Mystery, also Nancy Drew. Yeah. Yes. Also, I loved Max Headroom. Side note, just side note. Watch your step. Breathing crystals below. What's down here? Do you think? Oh. What do you think's down here? Let's explore. Let's find out. Well, whatever this is, it looks like a thing that's not for us yet. Never gotten to Max Headroom. I enjoyed it, but it also was originally a British show, so you know, Max Headroom. Yeah, I never had cable growing up, so missed out on a lot of that stuff. So all the things I was talking about, these were all non-cable things, because we didn't get cable finally out of there. Just ahead is a town called Delphi. If anyone knows what the Queen of Wind song, that's where they are. I'm tired of waiting around for you, so I'll see you there. But at the show, at the time, Fraggle Rock, yeah. Like we ended up getting cable really late. We got cable finally, and like we got like basic cable super late. But like we had 7 Delphi Cemetery up this hill. No loitering after dark. We're gonna quit playing, by the way. Just interested to see what we got. Just interested. Yeah, some of the older shows I was too young to be super interested in. Yeah, and like I just was thinking about all those shows that I was just like, I'm bored by this. I'm sure it's good, but I don't care. Which, you know, there were a lot of those. I don't think I can go through the cemetery right now. Huh. That makes me sad. Apparently no cemetery. Blipverts would be a real problem in oh, yes. Thank you, Be Right. We didn't get a cable till a lot later, so I got to watch Nickelodeon at my grandmother's, and those cartoons from the 80s, wow, they were amazing. Probably also terrible, but so good. Oh, think about cartoons, right? I'm thinking about the Brady Kids was a cartoon, and also the Jacksons was a cartoon. Oops. By the way, I'm just traveling around. Ooh, hello. Ahoy! Can I help you? Are you a pirate? Yes. I mean, yar. That is so cool. Har, I know. Do you know anything about the Overseer song? Apologies, matey, I don't. Wow. Sorry, it's so cool that you say matey. What's your ship called? She's the Lady Arabica. Gosh, I just can't get over how cool you are. Well, I'm supposed to be looking for an Overseer song, so I guess I'm going to leave you alone. Alrighty then, matey. I'll talk to the captain later. Yeah, the cartoons on cable my friends watched all seem really strange to me. They probably were. So this is where we've got to be, but I feel like I should probably write my final exam for my class. So we're gonna end our stream. Exit game. Exit game. Exit game. Exit game. I don't even know. Jerry Anderson's puppet shows were a big thing at the time. Be right. Thunderbirds, Captain Scarlet. Oh yeah, those were great. Do you remember Land of the Lost or Sigmund of the Sea Monster? I remember Land of the Lost, no problem. Yes, I do remember Land of the Lost. I also, oh yeah. Inspector Gadget, Danger Mouse, The Mysterious Cities of Gold, and of course, You Can't Do That on TV. Yes, the show that introduced me to Alanis Morissette. I remember You Can't Do That on television. I loved Moose. I remember those, yes. Also, Be Right says, thanks for the stream and the discussion. It's always a pleasure to be with you all. Take care of yourselves. Thank you. I came back. I'm the big boring Brazilian. Hey, I'm just about to end the stream, but you're not boring. We were just talking about all the TV shows of our youth and how you got different TV shows in different parts of the country, and that was super exciting. Also, I never know how to exit this game. This makes me crazy. Also, way back in the 70s, there was the Croft Super Show with Electro Woman and Dyna Girl and Speed Buggy. Some live action stuff. There's also like ISIS and Shazam. Yeah, there was like a bunch of interesting stuff from like the 70s that I remember as a kid. Those were fun. So look, let me tell you where you can find me. What is happening? So tomorrow is Friday, and tomorrow will be City of Light and Shadow at 7 o'clock at this... Where's my cursor? Oh, there it is. It's not going anywhere. I don't think I can do anything until I can figure out how to get out of this game. No. Get out. Ugh. We'll do this. Nope. We won't do this. People, I'm not gonna be able to get out of this game. I'm never leaving the game ever. That's it. If you replace about the Franklin expedition, those cans I mentioned, they were improperly treated and were sealed with lead. So they had lead poisoning on top of diseases like scurvy, tuberculosis, and botulism. Well, that's bad. Oh, hey, thank you, Jer. I have a Discord. Join the Discord if you like. We're very lovely there. You can also follow me on Twitter at Academic Foxhole. We've got a YouTube channel, which is a Trooper SJP, which is the archive of this place. Also, you can find Academic Foxhole, the Patreon, which helps support our RPGs. Friday, which is tomorrow, is our RPG, which is City of Light and Shadow, which I'm very excited about. They brutalized a fellow secret agent. We're going to see how that works out for them. They're a little bit on the run. And let's see, what's next? I don't think I have a Friday morning thing at all. Oh, you know, I can look at my calendar. Saturday at 1 o'clock, I will not be streaming my show. I will not be streaming Outer Worlds at noon. Instead, at 1 o'clock on the Roll For It channel, I will be GMing A Good Society. So that's at 1. Come and see me there if you like. On Sunday, nothing outrageous besides some rehearsal for The Tempest. Monday is just lots of thesis defenses. Tuesday, I don't stream then. Wednesday will be Overlight over on Little Red Dot's channel, and then Thursday, this next Thursday, I will be here again for more Wandersong. So that's all where I'm at. Thank you. Yeah, I'm gonna write this final exam. I already know what the unprepared essay is. I just have to sort of work it out, and then I've got to sort of figure out how to deal with the online portion of it, and it'll be fine. But I should probably eat some food as well. But thank you for being here. I appreciate you all so much. You are all, it means a lot to have you here hanging out with me, so I appreciate it. Find me at the places, and you know, they also left a letter that said that they were fine, but additions were made that said that Captain Franklin was dead, and a lot of people were also dead and the ships were abandoned. So they were not fine. They're like, everything is fine. They were not fine. I'm gonna get my noms on first. I will. I've got some food that I'm excited to have. So chat in the Discord, and I'm going to see some videos, and take care of yourselves, and I will catch you on the... You're all great, and it's going to be a wild RPG ride in May, I will tell you what, but it's going to be good. So, Overlight Made Me Cry, episode 1, so go and watch it if you like. And we've got... Oh, Capers. Pardon me. I've got Capers on Sunday. Do not forget... I didn't tell you. I am doing something on Sunday. Whoa. This Sunday at 1 p.m. I've got Capers. Yes. Over on Tales from the Grim. So don't let me forget. Sorry. So tomorrow, City of Light and Shadows in the evening at 7 on my channel. Saturday, 1 o'clock, 1 p.m. Roll For It. Good Society that I'm jamming. Sunday, 1 p.m. Seraphim Station, Capers, Offworld, Over on Tales from the Grim, and those are the three, and then I've got a rehearsal. And those are the 3 streams I've got for the rest of the week, and then I'll catch you on Wednesday for Overlight. And it's really good. It's really good. Made me cry. Yes. Yeah, it was a really good, thank you, Cookster. It was a really good nostalgic evening, right? And now I want to go and watch the theme song for Rocky Road and ponder some of those shows I haven't thought about for a while. Yeah. I'm going to leave a good website about the whole expedition. Oh, thank you, Antarctica, because I want to read it, because I feel like there's a good adventure there. There's an adventure in that expedition. Oh, yeah. Crit Witch, Overlight is fun. Oh, Crit Twitch, it is good. All right, we got to go. I'm going to go. All right, everybody. Take care of yourselves. Bye.